Me, it's pending. Okay, now we're live officially.
Okay. Hello, my name is Rosie. I'm from Jackson, Michigan, and I am pissed the hell off. There is an ordinance that will be going up for discussion next week, July 21st at 6:30 p.m. in Jackson, Michigan, and it discusses an amendment to Article 10 surrounding personal property, belongings, furnishings, or equipment. Before I go any further and read you the text of this bill,
Don't worry, I'm going to put it up
tell
on screen too if you have if
right
it's
now,
public.
line by line. You'll be hearing this line by line. I would prefer it that way. You can look it up at the cityofjackson.org, Jackson, Michigan.
Oh, I was just putting it on screen, like over your words, so it'll be like engaging narration. But carry on.
But it is incredibly propagandized. Forget the propaganda. We're going to talk brass tacks. Let's be clear. This will kill people. This will criminalize homelessness, sleeping rough, and poverty. There is no denial. And furthermore, as it will be repeated at the end of the reading of this ordinance bill, it will be effective immediately. This is dire, and people will die. To begin, a declaration of emergency. Pursuant to Section 9.6 of the Jackson City Charter, the City Council hereby finds and declares that a public emergency affecting the life, health, property, and public peace of the city exists, described as follows. Unattended and excess personal property, tents, and related belongings, furnishings, and equipment are presently being stored in significant volume and in numerous locations in the public right-of-way, sidewalks, and parks of the city in a manner that 1. Obstructs pedestrian and emergency vehicle passage and blocks routes required to be accessible under the Americans with Disabilities Act. 2. Impedes the ability of police, fire, emergency medical, sanitation, parks, and public works personnel to respond promptly to calls for service and to maintain public areas. 3. Creates imminent hazards to public health and safety, including fire hazards, blocked fire hydrants, sharp objects, biohazardous materials, and vermin infestation. And 4. Prevents members of the public from safely using sidewalks, streets, parks, benches, and other city facilities for their intended purposes. The City Council further finds that these conditions constitute an immediate danger to the public health, safety, and welfare, such that the ordinary effective date otherwise applicable to ordinances of the city would be insufficient to protect the public, and that this ordinance must take immediate effect upon publication as provided in Section 9.6 of the City Charter. Firstly, they are saying that people sleeping rough, people that have been camped out in the front lawn of the Carnegie Library in downtown Jackson, are a threat to public safety. I'm sorry, what part of someone trying to make a shelter for themselves so they can continue to survive in a public area close to services is a threat to public health and safety? Tyler, tell me where. Where
Oh,
is
I
that
was
a
like,
threat?
honestly, you're doing a great job doing my job for me. So like, I was just gonna play video games, but nowhere, honestly. I mean, I'll be. This is the devil's advocate. I will play because I'm a good interviewer. I'm not saying I agree with this position, but I think the idea is, oh, homeless people are all mentally ill, so they could kill people. And like, I think it's a very, for one, simple-minded and reactionary position, but also two, I think it's not even true. Like a lot of I feel like putting everybody who's mentally ill in one basket is just the same as putting everyone who is disabled in one basket. And also, not all homeless people are mentally ill, or at least not diagnosed, of course, and that's one of the big problems. So I think it's insane on both a nerd level and insane from a face level. It looks insane.
Tyler, the bill doesn't even mention this within its.
I'm running for Jackson
text,
City Council.
Within.
Sorry, this is a serious topic, but that's just me.
This is being facetious.
Yes.
For the record, you are being facetious, correct?
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I don't live in Jackson, so I can't legally run for it, but we'll see.
Thank you. We'll now move on to section 17-215, or the purpose. The City of Jackson hereby finds that unattended or excess personal property stored in public areas may obstruct sidewalks and routes required to be accessible under the Americans with Disabilities Act, impede police, fire, emergency medical, sanitation, parks, and public works operations, interfere with permitted public events, create hazards involving sharp objects. That's an assumption, but that's my personal aside. Biohazardous materials. Again, that's a hell of an assumption. Spoilage, vermin, combustibles. How do you know that? Or blocked fire hydrants, and prevent the public from using sidewalks, streets, parks, benches, and city facilities for their intended public purposes. The city further finds that it is in the public interest to protect the property rights of owners through notice, storage, no-fee retrieval, and documentation procedures. This article is a content-neutral and status-neutral public health, safety, accessibility, and nuisance abatement regulation applicable to all persons. The purpose of this article is to prohibit the storage of unattended or, in their words, quotes, access personal property in public rights-of-way, sidewalks, and parks. The Council hereby determines excess personal property, tents in certain public areas without a properly obtained permit, attachments, and other personal property, belongings, furnishings, or equipment defined herein as a public nuisance. This article shall be enforced in a content-neutral and status-neutral manner, and shall not be construed to authorize the destruction of unabandoned personal property except as expressly provided for hazardous, unsafe, rubbish, contaminated, or perishable items. Violations of this article may be enforced as municipal civil infractions unless accompanied by separate criminal conduct constituting a distinct violation of law. Now, let's break this down a minute. Let's think about this. They're saying that this is content neutral, that this has nothing to do with politics, and is simply a matter of protecting the health, safety, and well-being of the public. I beg to differ. Do you know why I beg to differ, Tyler?
Sorry, I was like, honestly, I do not. I was trying to think, but your question, I'm assuming, was rhetorical.
Yes, of course, but I was hoping for an answer as well.
I was trying to, because I know I got high expectations, but honestly, I don't know. What do you mean?
So I beg to differ with this because it is so easy. As we proceed further within this bill, you will understand how easy it is to abuse this language, to harass, further dispossess the already dispossessed, and create situations where, if, for example, a person who was already dispossessed of their home and their property and functionally speaking their right to exist as a human being in generally accepted society, if they are further dispossessed from any medication or identification that they need in order to live, they will die. That is not hyperbole. However, we will continue. Section 17-216, definitions. For the purposes of this article, the following definitions shall apply. City employee means any full or part-time employee of the city of Jackson or a contractor retained by the city for the purpose of implementing this article. Essential personal property means any and all personal property that cumulatively is less than 2 cubic feet in volume, which, by way of example, is the amount of property capable of being carried within a backpack and including, without limitation, any medication, medical devices, disability aids, identification documents, legal documents, wallet, keys, eyeglasses, cell phones, and any other item reasonably necessary for health, safety, or legal identity when such items are reasonably identifiable and safe to handle. Excess personal property means any and all personal property that cumulatively exceeds the amount of property that could fit in a 32-gallon container with the lid closed. Personal property means any tangible property and includes, but is not limited to, goods, materials, merchandise, tents, tarpaulins, bedding, sleeping bags, hammocks, sheds, structures, mattresses, couches, chairs, other furniture, appliances, and personal items such as household items, luggage, backpacks, clothing, documents, and medication, but excluding garbage, rubbish, biohazardous materials, contraband, or items reasonably determined by trained city staff under established protocol to be unsafe to handle or store. Public area or public areas mean all property that is owned, managed, or maintained by the city to the extent the city has authority to regulate, manage, maintain, or control the area, including property under the jurisdiction of the Department of Parks and Recreation, and shall include, but not be limited to, any street, sidewalk, medial strip, space, ground, park, building, or structure. Store, stored, storing, or storage means to put personal property aside or accumulate for use when needed, to put for safekeeping, and or to place or leave in a public area. Moving personal property to another location in a public area or returning personal property to the same block on a daily basis shall be considered storing. This definition shall not include any personal property that, pursuant to statute, ordinance, permit, regulation, or other authorization by the city of state or state, is stored with the permission of the city on real property that is owned or controlled by the city, nor shall it include personal property temporarily present in a public area during ordinary lawful use, such as a picnic or recreational equipment during active use, strollers, mobility devices, delivery equipment, or luggage at a transit stop. Unattended means no person is present with the personal property to assert or claim ownership of the personal property. Conversely, property is considered attended if a person if a person is present with the personal property and the person claims ownership over the personal property. Property that is unattended shall not, on that basis alone, be presumed to be abandoned. That was a lot.
Don't worry, I have all of the bill on my stream. I have, obviously, we're vertically streaming. That's what we do here. And I literally have as much as you've been reading, obviously making it look good on stream, directly on stream. And the title of this stream, so I don't get sued, is Jackson City, Michigan Policy Proposal Kills Homeless People, ? Like Tucker Carlson. So I can't get sued. Plus, this also, in reality, could actually kill homeless people. Like, and I don't know if their intention is literally to kill homeless people or just they're that stupid and also sociopathic and they don't care. But either way, I don't really give a shit what the intention is if you're killing homeless people or any people. It's fucked up.
if you're criminalizing homelessness, effectively you're trying to push it off of the streets. And when you try to push it off of the streets, what happens? Collateral damage.
Okay, I have a real question for you. And you said
Yes.
you have as much time as you want. Honestly, if you rant for the next 2 hours, I will take a nap and I'll just let you rant. Honestly, you're cooking. You would be a great streamer. We'll talk about that off stream. But I have a question, serious question for you. Why do you think governments try to do these band-aid quote-unquote solutions? It's obviously not a solution to homelessness. You can't just kill all the people. That's more like the final solution. But like, why do they try to do these like half measures rather than just fix the underlying issues? Like, what is that? Is it because they're stupid? Is it because they don't have empathy? Or is it because it costs more? Like, or is it all of them? I genuinely, it boggles my mind. Like, wouldn't the solution be to get them help? And then over time, it would make things cheaper? Like, it's so fucking stupid.
You would think.
I would think, because I'm young and I have an econ degree, and I'm like, long term, this is not money. It doesn't even make money. What the fuck is the point?
I appreciate your wisecrackery, but that is not.
It's true, though.
That is not the subject of this particular rant.
Okay, fair enough.
And
I got my own rant. I put a rant inside a rant.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now, the point that I cannot speculate as to the point, but I can tell you with near full certainty the impact of this will be tremendous, harmful, and potentially deadly.
So I won't get sued for my title, right? That's all I care about. I'm narcissistic. Hello?
Let's move on.
I knew you were still there. It was just funny. But in all seriousness, like, this just seems both stupid and cruel. It's both. It's like, you know, they did it all. But anyways, yeah, like,
Yes.
literally, keep going. You're cooking.
All right. The next section is 17-217. Prohibition. A. No person shall store any unattended personal property in a public area with pre-removal notice as specified in this article, and after expiration of the applicable notice period, the city may impound any unattended personal property in a public area, regardless of volume. Post-removal notice shall be provided as set forth in this article. B. No person shall store any attended excess personal property, the considered 32-gallon container, in a public area. With pre-removal notice as specified in this article and after expiration of the applicable notice period, the city may impound any attended excess personal property in a public area, regardless of volume. Post-removal notice shall be provided as set forth in this article. C. No person shall store any personal property in a public area in such a manner as to obstruct, disrupt, or interfere with city operations of any nature, including but not limited to maintenance or cleaning. Without prior notice, the city may temporarily move personal property, whether attended or unattended, which is obstructing city operations in a public area during the time necessary to conduct the city operations. The city also may impound personal property that is obstructing city operations in a public area, provided that when impoundment rather than temporary movement occurs, the city shall document the operational basis and provide post-removal notice pursuant to this article. D. No person shall store any personal property in a public area in such a manner that does not allow for passage as provided by the Americans with Disabilities Act of 1990. Pub L. No. 100, Public Law Number 101-336, or 104 Statute 328, 1990, as amended. For our legal junkies over here, that's just the standard blue book citation. Without prior notice, the city may move and may impound any personal property, whether attended or unattended, stored in a public area in such a manner that does not allow for passage as required by the ADA. Post-removal notice shall be provided as set forth in this article. When feasible, City staff shall document removal, photograph the location, and take reasonable care to prevent and store any mobility devices, medical equipment, disability aids, medications, identification, and essential personal property encountered during ADA-based removal. E. No person shall store any personal property, whether attended or unattended, within 10 feet of any operational or utilizable driveway or loading dock, within 5 feet of any operational or utilizable building entrance or exit, within 2 feet of any fire hydrant, fire plug, or other fire department connection, within 5 feet of any crosswalk, curb, ramp, or bus stop, in a manner which intentionally blocks or interferes with others' ability to safely use a public bench or other physical public sitting structure. The city may impound personal property stored in violation of this subsection with post-removal notice as set forth in this article. F. No person shall store any personal property in a public area if the personal property, whether attended or unattended, constitutes an immediate threat to the public health or safety. Without prior notice, the city may remove and may discard any personal property stored in a public area if the personal property poses an immediate threat to the health, safety, or welfare of the public. For purposes of this subsection, immediate threat to the public health or safety means personal property that a trained city supervisor or law enforcement officer reasonably determines is a biohazard, contains human waste, or in an uncontained condition, contains used needles or sharps in an unsafe condition, contains vermin infestation, constitutes a fire hazard, contains a controlled substance presenting immediate danger, or otherwise presents an objectively identifiable and documented risk of immediate harm that cannot practicably be abated by storage. Immediate discard shall be limited to such items and shall be documented with a supervisor's written approval and photographic evidence where practicable. As a brief aside, this means that cops can take your shit if you end up on the street. Excuse
But
my
wait a minute, time
language.
out. I like my shit.
Yeah.
I really like my shit.
That's great for you, sweetheart, but the cop sure doesn't care.
Wait, but time out. I was told by the establishment media that homeless people don't have shit. So are you saying that homeless people aren't all mentally ill and some of them actually just literally cannot afford houses and others who are mentally ill still have jobs? Is that what you're telling me?
Tyler,
I'm being
does that pertain
facetious.
to the subject of the bill?
I am. It sounds insane. And I honestly, like, if you want to keep cooking on reading the bill, I'm here all night. But also, I wanted to ask you, if you're watching right now or you're watching the clips after and you think this is insane, because, I mean, in my opinion, it's insane, but everyone is free to have their own opinion, at least for now. I need you to answer this question. It's very important. How can people prevent this?
Well, for starters, if today is on or before July 21st, and the time is before 6:30 p.m., you can come to Jackson and attend the city council meeting. You can find information surrounding this meeting and the ordinance itself. See the text for yourself. See what the city has to say. I would thoroughly encourage you to see what the city has to say about the bill and their language surrounding the bill on the City of Jackson website. Do you think you can pull that up for your friends on the stream?
I actually made all this up. We're not streaming. I'm lying about. No, I'm kidding. I can pull that up. Yeah.
Thank you. So
Just
very
City of
much.
Jackson. I was like, I don't know where that joke was going. It wasn't that funny, so I'm like, fuck it. And this is also a serious issue. Although I think being a person and being funny, just real quick while I pull this up for 1 second, I think it really helps. And honestly, if you're somebody who considers themselves populist, leftist, or just a person who doesn't identify as political but sees this as plain wrong, being funny and being a normal human being is a great, easy way to make people like you. And when they like you, they will be more receptive to your positions. Because as much as I want to be a robot or whatever, like, people have emotions. And so when you're reasonable with them, and I know it's like, oh, civility, this. I'm not doing civility because it's like a principle of mine. I'm doing it as a political tool because I am sick and tired of people dying in the streets. Sorry, not sorry. Anyways, I pulled up the website. What are we looking at?
Thank you. If you would go to the city calendar, specifically surrounding the date, time, and location for our friends to grab a screenshot.
Side note, this website is awful to look at, but we'll find it. Thank you, Jackson, for killing homeless people instead of fixing your goddamn website.
Oh, and fixing the roads and shoveling the city-owned sidewalks.
But I assumed they're a competent government because they're focusing on killing homeless people. That means they fixed all the other problems first, right?
Theoretically.
You're saying there's problems that they didn't fix, and then instead they're creating more problems?
Oh, sweetheart.
Wait, governments are lying to us? Also, I'm only saying this because I found it. It's all the way at the bottom, the calendar, 21st.
Yep.
So I have the calendar here. It says Board of Review. Is that what you're talking about?
It would be
or City Council meeting. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
You want me to click on that?
Yes. Give them a look at the agenda.
Well, I thought we were giving them a piece of our mind.
Well, that too, obviously, as if that stopped. I'll continue reading.
If you could, because just side note real quick, for the agenda, there's no like link to click it to see what's going on. How do I actually find what my government officials, do I have to download it?
I would reckon you do.
Is it a virus?
Oh, no, it's not.
But it will make people sick to their stomachs.
That is true. At least it's not Sephora.
I'm sorry, I'm fucking around, and this is important. But
contagious.
Just really quick before you continue, do you want me to have the agenda up? Do you want me to have the bill up, or one of both?
Let's give people a minute to find the website and look over the agenda.
It says no published meeting files.
Of course not.
So not only are they trying to kill homeless people, allegedly, and also accidentally, not on purpose. I'm not accusing them of anything, like that they literally were in a meeting room saying that. But they literally will not even publish the agenda to vote on this. And I don't think that's an accident. A lot of this stuff you could chalk up to like being careless and stupid. That's intentional, 100%. And anyways, we'll go back to the bill.
All right. I will not speak or speculate to the intentionality.
I will, because I don't give a fuck. I'm sorry, I'll stop.
Give a fuck, but I do.
Well, I give a fuck about the right people. The wrong people can go fuck themselves.
Oh, honey.
Anyway, sorry. Continue. I have the bill up. Where were we? Are we going to section 217, or are we still in the midst of 216?
We're in specifically 217 section G, as in George. Or garbage. Garbage or rubbish or any other unhealthy, hazardous, or unsafe item may be disposed immediately pursuant to city protocol and is not required to be stored pending disposal. H. No person shall store any personal property, whether attended or unattended, in such a manner that obstructs or interferes with any activity in a public area for which the city has issued a permit. Without prior notice, the city may move and may immediately impound any personal property stored in a public area in violation of this subsection. Post-removal notice shall be provided as set forth in this article, along with documentation of the permitted event and the basis for removal. I. No person shall store any personal property, whether attended or unattended, in such a manner as to obstruct any portion of a street or other public right-of-way open to use by motor vehicles, a designated bike lane or bike path, or other public right-of-way open exclusively to use by bicycles. Without prior notice, the city may move and may immediately impound any personal property, whether attended or unattended, in violation of this subsection. post-removal notice shall be provided as set forth in this article. That was also a lot. I would be shocked if you're not like, well, come on, what's the point here? We're getting there. We're getting there. Hold on. Section 17-218. Notice. A. Pre-removal notice. Pre-removal notice shall be deemed provided if a written notice is provided to the person who is storing or claims ownership of the personal property or is posted conspicuously on or near the personal property. Pre-removal notice shall allow a minimum of 24 hours for the owner to remove the personal property before impoundment may occur, except in circumstances where this article authorizes removal without prior notice. For locations designated by the city manager as high use downtown or high pedestrian traffic areas, a shorter notice period of not less than 2 hours may be established by written policy, supported by findings of operational need, provided such policy is publicly posted and uniformly applied. The written notice shall contain the following: a general description of the personal property to be removed, the location from which the personal property will be removed, the date and time the notice was posted, the date and time by which the owner must remove the personal property to avoid impoundment, a statement that the personal property has been stored in violation of this article, a statement that the personal property may be impounded if not removed from public areas by the date and time stated in this notice. The address, telephone number, hours of operation, and internet website of the city through which a person may receive information as to impounded personal property as well as information as to voluntary storage locations. A statement that moving personal property to another location in a public area shall not be considered removal of personal property from a public area. A statement that impounded personal property may be discarded if not claimed within 30 days after impoundment. B. Post-removal notice. Upon removal of stored personal property, written notice shall be conspicuously posted in the area from which the personal property was removed. The written notice shall contain the following: a general description of the personal property removed. Incredibly helpful when someone is stressed. The date and approximate time of removal. A statement that the personal property was stored in violation of this article and has been impounded. The address, telephone number, hours of operation, and internet website of the city through which a person may receive information as to impounded personal property as well as information as to voluntary storage locations or a location. A statement that the impounded personal property may be discarded if not claimed within 30 days after impoundment. The name and contact information for the designated city claim coordinator. This is very vague on purpose. And while we could sit all day long and ask the question, well, what in the dickens do you mean when you say all of this? What is the parameter for a designated city claim coordinator? Who's going to do that job? Asking those questions will not help the people who are currently sleeping rough. Okay? Plain and simple. It's not going to help them. And further, let's be honest here, as if we weren't being already, but blunt then. When you have already had everything taken away from you except that which lives in your head, what are you going to be able to do with yourself if the last things you ever owned, other than the clothes on your back, have been taken from you. What are you going to do with yourself? Anyway, moving on. Section 17-219, Storage and Disposal. Except as specified herein, the city shall remove personal property to a place of storage. The city shall move and store impounded personal property for 30 days, after which time, if not claimed, it may be discarded. The city shall not be required to undertake any search for or return any impounded personal property stored for longer than 30 days. The city shall maintain a record of the date any impounded personal property was discarded. Garbage or rubbish, or any other unhealthy, hazardous, or unsafe item may be disposed immediately pursuant to city protocol and is not required to be stored pending disposal. Prior to impoundment, city staff shall, when practicable, create a written field inventory by general category and photograph the property and its location. Essential property, personal property, medication, medical devices, disability aids, identification documents, legal documents, and items reasonably appearing to have significant personal or monetary value shall be separately catalogued, handled with care, and stored in a manner that protects them from loss or damage. City staff shall use gloves and appropriate safety protocols when handling personal property. The city shall maintain a claim log, disposal log, photograph log, and notice log for a minimum of 3 years. At which point I ask, who's going to pay for that? Of course, the question who's going to pay for that doesn't matter when this bill is inhumane. This bill is a problem. And if, even though they make the carve out for medication, what medication do they mean? What would be considered what would be thrown out anyway? Because prescriptions like Adderall, Vyvanse, those are controlled substances. Even if they are assigned to the person that is claiming them, that could easily be considered a hazard and be disposed of promptly, despite the fact that it is a life-saving medication. Anyway, Section 17-220, Repossession. The owner of impounded personal property may repossess the personal property prior to its disposal upon submitting satisfactory proof of ownership. A person may establish satisfactory proof of ownership by, among other methods, describing the location from and date when the personal property was impounded from a public area and providing a reasonably specific and detailed description of the personal property, including by photograph, receipt, serial number, or credible verbal description. Valid government-issued identification is not required to claim impounded personal property. An owner of personal property shall not be charged a fee if repossession occurs within 30 days of removal. If a claim is denied, the claimant may request review by a designated city supervisor or claim coordinator, whose contact information shall be provided at the storage location and on the post-removal notice. Think about it. Think about what this means. So, if you want to be able to get your stuff back, practically speaking, you'd need to have forensic records of your own personal property. Tyler, is it my imagination or is that fucking stupid? Excuse my French.
I mean, I'll answer this with two parts. One, it could be your imagination because you are a very creative person that I've known. But also, two, I think in reality, based on the reality I live in, and it could also be in my imagination, but you didn't ask that. That is, it sounds pretty fucking stupid. So I hope that was a good answer to your question.
That's satisfactory.
You're fired.
Section.
Get off my show. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I know, by the way, guys, if you think like, oh, he's not taking it seriously, for one, if you do too much serious stuff, like being genuine, it takes a toll on you as a person. And two, this is who I am. And three, fuck you, I don't care. We're trying to actually stop this from killing homeless people. Shut the fuck up. Focus on the bill. Stop focusing on optics. Okay, continue.
Tyler?
Yeah, what's up?
Humor is the best medicine known to man.
But I thought it was a serious situation, so I have to be a depressed little shit all the time. And because I'm fucking talking about serious issues, I can be a dick to everybody.
You and I both know that's not true.
I thought it was apparent by my tone, but yes, I just wanted to be clear. And I think there's a ton of people who are going to be so mad that I said that. Oh my God, you're not taking this seriously, Tyler. Literally, I'm playing video games while doing this. I'm being honest, but I'm listening because for one, I have ADHD, but also for two, honestly, it's that problematic where if playing video games actually helps me not like internalize how fucked up this is. And we got to stop this with all hands on deck. I don't care if you're a fucking enemy of mine or you're an enemy of socialists and you think, oh, they're communists. Even if you're a pro-life Republican, what's more pro-life than protecting lives? Like, seriously, what does the term mean? Should we change the definition to pro-life equals, well, some people deserve to die? Like, no. If you're pro-life...
Tyler,
I know.
must we open the box?
What box?
That box.
I'm just saying.
Continue on.
You can
with the
disagree.
bill.
That's the whole point of the show. But I just want to conclude real quick, and then we continue on the bill. That at the end of the day, yes, some people don't want to have certain political allies. Some people want to believe things. Maybe two things people believe or say they believe are contradictory when actually acted out. My point is, what is the worst crime you can have? It's genocide, mass killing of people. And what's the second worst crime you can have? A lot of killing. Maybe not by the definition genocide, but killing people. So by my definition, this could be the second worst type of crime behind literal genocide. And if I'm anti-genocide in the Middle East, which I am, or anywhere around the world, not just the Middle East, then you have to be against this or, what is it called? Have some kind of reforms to this bill, which I got to be honest with you, this bill is 8 pages long and all of it looks shitty. So I think the best kind of reform is putting it in the fucking fire pit or don't even print it, save the paper. And then,
frankly,
yeah.
It's irredeemable.
I kind of agree, but I'm trying to be nice to the fucking dumbasses. If there's some goddamn Jackson City Council member watching this, I don't know you. Maybe you're a nice guy, but this is a fucking awful bill. Please fix it and apologize and then never do this shit again and maybe we'll forgive you. Anyways, continue.
Oh, they've actually done this before with anti-peddling
Okay, fuck
laws,
that guy.
anti-noxious weeds laws, and this is before we open up that can
Lock
of
them up.
worms.
Lock them up, folks.
Oh, now Tyler.
Sorry, I'm
No,
just being myself.
I can tell.
Anyways, let's continue. Let's continue. Where were we?
Snow removal. In Jackson, if it's a city-owned property, during the wintertime, they do not remove the snow and ice on these sidewalks that the
Fuck
city
ice.
owns. But during the summertime, they mow the lawns because they want to keep up the appearance that the city is not blighted, that the city does not have problems.
Wait. Time out. I need to stop you right there. Are you
Yes.
telling me that Jackson is not a perfect utopia?
Well, what else could I be telling you?
Well, I was under the impression that because they're focusing on making things worse rather than better, they must have gotten used to like things being awesome. And so like they accidentally or maybe on purpose wanted to see like making lives worse for people. I was assuming everything was perfect.
Well, I've lived in this town for over 20 years.
Do not harass her or
And-
stalk her. She's a great person. And if you do, I wouldn't be coming for you because I wouldn't make threats, but we'll do something. Sorry. She doesn't have to stand by that, but I will because I don't give a fuck. Anyways, continue.
I've seen this city both decline and begin to rise. And within those 20 years, the rising that has come from initiatives like Bright Walls, bringing people here to make art, publicly funded art, publicly, like bringing the downtown back, from the decrepitude that existed from 2008 to 2018. That is real, and that is important, and that is necessary. The building of housing, of rental units for housing, building city housing units, that is incredible work and incredible progress. That is making Jackson a great place to raise a family. This bill is not that. The anti-peddling law or ordinance is not that. The noxious weeds ordinance is not that. If we repealed the noxious weeds ordinance, for example, we would be able to bring more green spaces, pollinator gardens to downtown Jackson, bringing pieces of the forest to downtown Jackson. I will grant you that it is man-made forest and man-made prairies and meadows, but the long-term return on investment is far greater than criminalizing homelessness, which is essentially what this bill does, despite what the city says. Now I
Wow.
shall continue. Section 17-221. Ban on tents/attachments in certain public areas. A. Unless a permit is obtained, no person shall erect, configure, construct, maintain, use, occupy, or allow to remain erected any tent in any public area. Permit criteria for tents or temporary structures shall be objective, content neutral, and set forth in writing. No permit shall be denied based on the content or viewpoint of any expressive message associated with the tent or its occupant. Without prior notice, the city may deconstruct any tent, whether attended or unattended, in violation of this article. When deconstructing a tent, city staff shall make reasonable efforts to preserve and separately store the contents of the tent, including any essential personal property, prior to the storage or disposal of the tent structure. With pre-removal notices specified in this article or posted signage, the city may impound any tent in violation of this article. What's got you so wound up there?
Oh, you heard that?
Yep.
Oh, I was testing my microphone. I forgot that it's connected to my computer too. I was testing because I have a microphone on my headphones, so if I have to step out of the room or something, I can still hear what you're saying and respond. And also, does this sound shittier? Am I echoing?
No, you're not echoing. I can hear you just fine.
How about now?
Not so great.
Okay, perfect. This is my old headset. Anyways, continue. Sorry about that. I was testing the audio and I clapped for those on stream. Nobody could hear that. And so I understand why you were like, what the fuck are you doing over there? Anyways, sorry about that. Tech, hey, this is a very short notice stream. I did everything right. You're indicting me. I'm doing my best. Continue.
Section B. No person shall erect any barrier against or lay string or join any wires, ropes, chains, or otherwise attach any personal property to any public property, including but not limited to a building or portion or protrusion thereof, fence, bus shelter, trash can, mailbox, pole, bench, news rack, sign, tree, bush, shrub, or plant without prior written consent of the city. C. No person shall erect any barrier against or lay, string, or join any wires, ropes, chains, or otherwise attach any personal property to any private property in such a manner as to create an obstruction on or across any street or area where the public may travel. D. Without prior notice, the city may remove any barrier, string, wires, ropes, chains, or other attachment of personal property, whether attended or unattended, to any public property or to any private property which creates an obstruction to any rights of way or areas where the public may travel. Basically saying, you gotta get a permit if you want to speak under a tent. While that is not a direct infringement of one's freedom of speech, it sure makes a man wonder, or a woman wonder. Now, doesn't it?
Hey, time out. You got to be woke. Non-binary friends. They can wonder too.
Of course, their day was yesterday.
Apologize. I'm woke. Apologize.
Sorry.
Thank you. That was a sincere demand and totally not being facetious and annoying on purpose to be funny.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe that was the facetious part. Anyways, continue. You're right though. Like, of course. Okay. Let me just take a step back and let me spit some game real quick for 30 seconds. If you think, and I'm being 100% serious, this isn't a joke, this is sincerity. I might use vulgar language, whatever. Just focus on the argument. Stop being distracted, okay? If you think in your mind that a city won't use supposed safety concerns as a pretext, as an excuse, as a false reason, those are all synonyms, to enact restrictions under the guise of legitimate safety concerns and then use that to silence anybody they don't like, doesn't matter if it's pro-Palestine, doesn't matter if it's somebody saying, hey, city council member, go fuck yourself. They will do that. Not only have many cities done that, but cities across the country, states across the country, the federal government are doing it right this second. So let me burst that little bubble for you and bring you a dose of reality. Even if you are the hardest right Republican on the planet, if you actually sincerely believe, and I'm not talking about people who are lying for money, I'm talking about people who are delusional, maybe they're cognitively dissonant, but if you sincerely believe in the ideals of free speech and due process, two of our constitutionally protected rights under the Bill of Rights, and you somehow think that this bill will not violate those rights, and by the way, think about this, they could use it against Republican protesters too. It's not, Jackson's not exactly the reddest city. So
actually,
is it?
Pretty well is.
Wait, is it all
very,
Republicans?
Very conservative.
Well, no, but who's
Not
elected?
Not all Republicans, but
who's elected
Hunt,
in office?
Her campaign manager, she is an elected official. Her campaign manager is a MAGA Republican.
Oh, well, hopefully this... 1 second. Rosie, shame on you for telling me not to invoke pro-life, because that would have been a banger rhetorical move. But also, two, you're absolutely right. And I think that this clearly is not good for anybody, and they are not considering the consequences. My mind is made up. Maybe they're evil and stupid at the same time, but I think they're more stupid than evil, and we need to get through to them.
Oh, I'm just quaking in my boots.
I'm not. I don't wear boots, for one, because they're not comfy, but also, two, I don't care.
All right, we still have the last and most egregious section to get to, as if the rest of this wasn't bad enough.
I am scrolled all the way down to the dock. You are good. The floor is yours, Rosie.
Section 17-222, Enforcement. Violations of this article may, in the discretion of the enforcing officer or city employee, be charged as a civil infraction punishable by a fine of $50 and the costs of prosecution, or in lieu of issuing a civil infraction citation, be addressed through a verbal or written warning, referral to outreach or support services, or another voluntary compliance measure as the circumstances warrant. You heard that correctly. $50 when these people are struggling to even scrape together a single dollar. $50 can be life or death. Issuance of a civil infraction citation under this section is authorized but not required. Each act of violation and every day upon which such violation shall occur shall constitute a separate offense. $50 per day until this is supposedly resolved. Nothing in this article shall preclude prosecution for a separate criminal offense arising from conduct that independently constitutes a violation of applicable law. Uh-huh. Enforcement shall be conducted in a content-neutral and status-neutral manner. Officers and city employees shall document the objective basis for each removal action, including the specific subsection authorizing removal, the location, date, time, and description or photograph of the property. And where a civil infraction citation is issued, the basis for the officers or employees' determination that a citation, rather a non-citation resolution, was warranted. Let that sink in for a second. It doesn't have to be a cop that comes up to you and charges you with the $50 a day poverty tax. No, it can be a city employee. Do they designate a city employee? No, that means any city employee, from a part-time Parks and Recreation staffer or personnel all the way up to the city manager who sits above the mayor himself. What does that mean for the person who is unlucky enough to not have a roof over their head to begin with? Well, they can be harassed by practically anyone, or the harassment that they do face is not taken seriously. People have already thrown lit cigarette butts at the people outside of the Carnegie Library in Jackson. Lit cigarette butts. That's a fire hazard. And we just let them get away with that? How disgusting.
Well, I got
Now,
to be honest with you. You're doing exactly what we need to do because, for one, I'm not, some Hollywood hotshot, but we do have, 15 million views in aggregate across all channels. And it's not like Taglazio saying, pat ourselves in the back, stop fighting now. Every day is going to be another battle in the larger war. And all we can do is use our media tactics, our cunning, our savvy, in addition to the fact that we know we're standing on the right side of things to stop this and all bills by pressuring them legally, not threatening, not going to people's houses or whatever, legally expressing our right, our First Amendment rights that they want to infringe, and preventing that is the best way forward. And I appreciate you coming on stream, Rosie.
well, I'm not quite done yet.
Oh, no, I hope you aren't done. I'm just saying you could literally go for the next 10 hours and I'll be here. What is it? The meme of the soccer player. I will be here no matter what. You've seen that meme?
I would love to know who you're referring to.
Oh, never mind. Okay.
Unfortunately, I have not.
The kids will like it if there's kids watching this, which there will be. Although it seems we're a little shadow banned at the moment. But regardless, we're going to repost this a billion times. I promise.
That's a pity.
Anyways,
Anyhow,
continue.
Children, any language that you have heard this evening, please, for the love of all that is good in your life, do not repeat it. Thank you. That is their public service announcement.
Wait, what language?
You know what language.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the bill. I'm like, are you trying to silence children? Wow, Rosie, fascist. Fascist. You hate kids.
I mean profanity.
Yeah. Kids, don't say the stuff I said. One, because it'll piss your parents off, and two, because it'll piss your school off. But I mean, I guess like in theory, if there's no consequences, who cares? But if there are consequences, don't do it because it's annoying, and society's not ready for everybody to be talking like me.
Or me. Remember, children, read the
I'm woker
room.
than you.
Anyhow.
I'm going to be honest.
This would really wake you up.
Well,
Yeah.
I drank some caffeine, if you couldn't tell. So I'm already pretty awake. But I'm curious. What will wake me up?
If not, set a fire under your proverbial fire under your behind.
Well, I have
The
insurance, and also, is that a threat?
The effective date of this ordinance, as it is adopted as an emergency ordinance pursuant to Section 9.6 of the City Charter, and having been enacted upon the affirmative vote of 6 or more members of the City Council, upon publication in a newspaper of general circulation within the city, shall have immediate effect. Effectively, this has the potentiality of being enacted within the time of the meeting, after the sign off and the votes of 6 or more members of the City Council. The situation, without embellishment, is dire.
Well, I mean, obviously,
This
this is extremely dire, of course, but I mean, the silver lining, at least, is that I just put it on the All School Story. There's over 7,500 U of M students, in addition to our audience personally, which is arguably even bigger. And I'm going to get it out to as many people as possible. So the more you continue, people are going to be tuning in shortly because I just put the story up. So like the more, you don't have to rehash everything, but like the general ideas. And if people want to go back and watch, or we'll cut this down to a shorter video, then we'll have all the details for you there. But for the new people who are starting to tune in the stream, give them like a little overview.
So the city of Jackson is proposing, this is, for those who have been here a moment, this is not enacted ordinance or enacted law as of yet. This has yet to be voted on. The date of this vote for this particular ordinance is happening July 21st at 6:30 p.m. And where was it again? I know you had that poorly planned city website up not too long ago.
I don't even think they listed a location, but I assume City Hall.
Okay.
Isn't that crazy? But also, just I need to get this out of the way, both to cover my own ass, but also to I don't know, make this productive. If you are within driving distance, or you're insane enough to fly from, I don't know, fucking halfway around the world to this meeting, do not violate any laws when you go there. Abide by the laws, and if for some goddamn reason they violate your rights, say nothing, get a lawyer, and you will be freed. I have friends who are lawyers that will represent you for cheap or free. So just do not, because of my stream, because of knowing about this, because of Rosie, do not violate any laws, threaten anybody, do not do any of that. Just use your rights. It is your right to go there to the meeting, whether in person or send a letter, whatever the fucking things they have, which we don't even know what options they have for public comment, because their website is, in my opinion, intentionally vague so that they don't face consequences for their poor decisions. But regardless of that, whatever opportunities you have to legally, as far as we know and understand the law, legally participate in saying that this bill fucking sucks and should not be passed and will lead to the deaths of homeless people unintentionally. God willing, I hope it's unintentional. If this is intentionally trying to kill homeless people as a solution, then we got some fucking Nazis in here, which I'm not going to say yes or no because I don't know these people, but goddamn, is this a bad look. And just to conclude this mini rant inside the rant, GLU is not encouraging anyone to do violence. We are saying you have rights as an American and you better use them because they're going to be gone before you know it.
As an independent party speaking, I echo the sentiments of GLU with regard to...
We'll see about that. Maybe we'll hire you.
Abidement by all applicable state, federal, and local laws and ordinances.
What about county? What about county? Does that count as local or municipal? Get your facts straight.
Municipal ordinances, county regulations and laws, and all other applicable laws, including, to cover my own tuchus, international law. Don't flip and do it.
We have an international law? Well, why aren't they using that to stop the genocide? What the hell?
Oh, sweetie, it's only usable when you want to use it.
But I want to use
Not
it.
when it's actually necessary.
But I want to use it. Why can't I use it? How do I write a letter? Do I don't know, hang out, play Pokemon Go at the UN?
I
They probably have
reckon
a lot
the
of
only
Pokestops there.
option.
I mean, it
reckon
could
the
be.
only option
Honestly, if
here.
we make money on GLU, I legitimately, this is not even a bit, I will go to the UN to play Pokemon Go and confront people.
Well,
One, it's funny, but
that
also
would
two, it's the right
require
thing to do.
becoming a billionaire, my dear friend.
Okay, once I
would require
am
becoming a
ensured that I will not be
billionaire.
assassinated for just speech, then I'll do that. Until that happens, though, I probably won't.
Anyway, while the city claims that they are not explicitly banning and criminalizing homelessness, that is in effect what they are doing. Within the portion regarding the enforcement of this bill, they are saying that they will charge each person who is in violation of the ordinance a fine of $50 and the costs of prosecution. Now, also, they say that each act of violation and every day upon which such violation shall occur shall constitute a separate offense. So if you're still there the next day, it's no longer $50, it's $100 because your stuff and you are out in public view. If that does not make you sick, I do not know what will. Well, I do. It's called Cyclospora. Cook your vegetables, people. 158 degrees. Cook your vegetables. Of course. But that is
Wait,
unrelated
time
to the
out.
bill.
Repeat that vegetables thing again. I was zoning out and I heard the word vegetables, and I mean I like vegetables, but how did we get there?
It'll make you sick like Cyclospora.
Shout out to all the biology nerds and the flora and fauna lovers and the tree fuckers and huggers. Thank you for being here. Anyways, continue.
Delicious. Anyway,
I fucked the tree in my backyard.
Then, other than taxing the individual who is already dispossessed beyond measure, they are restricting the amount of personal belongings that you can have in public to the contents of a backpack and a 32-gallon container. That is a Rubbermaid tote. That is one Rubbermaid tote. Do you know what one Rubbermaid tote can hold? Not much.
Are you saying like an
That
actual
can maybe
living
hold
animal?
A sleeping bag, a sleeping pad, and possibly a set or two of clothing, if that, all together. And the lid has to be closed, they say in this ordinance. Of course, they can immediately remove anything and deem it a problem, hazardous to public health and safety for any number of reasons. They are incredibly and intentionally vague within the verbiage of this proposed ordinance, this bill. But that's not what's important here, ladies, gentlemen, friends. What is important here is that this bill will kill. This bill is inhumane. If you'd like to go back and watch what the full read through, I would highly encourage you to do it. Now, we're going to go to the city website, and I'm going to read through for you the bill. Oh. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me? Hello?
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 If you can hear me, clap once. Tyler? You're here. Okay. the stream can also hear me. Apologies, ladies, gentlemen, and friends. I am not as adept with technology as I wish to be. So, please bear with me as I juggle two different screens. We are going to the cityofjackson.org homepage. It's a news flash on the homepage. And I'm going to read to you what they say about this as well, because they have some interesting things to say. As soon as the blessed phone will let me.
Shout out to all the phones watching this, by the way. I just wanted to give a quick shout out. If you're like a sentient phone or something, shout out. Also, let me know when you find it, because are you talking about the news bulletin at the very top?
Regarding the Article 10, personal property, belongings, and furnishings regarding the homeless encampment?
So I'm looking at the website as we got it on stream on the main page. I have all the tabs. What am I looking at?
You are going to search up proposed ordinance amendment published July 14th on proposed personal property. Which one? cityofjackson.org?
Yeah, I'm there, and when I type in the word propose, it autofills to proposed ordinance, but without a space. Is that what you looked up?
I'm not looking it up. Look up the news flashes.
Is it like a tab, or is it pop up? Because my ad blocker might have blocked it.
It's a tab.
Okay, got it. So is it literally just called Newsflash?
Yep.
Okay,
and then
perfect.
Proposed ordinance amendment. It was posted on July 14th and was last updated July 14th. So
Banger, we got it up.
Yesterday.
We got it up for you.
Smashing.
Oh, now they publish the agenda. Oh, now they publish it. What happens when I click? It's probably going to say nothing, or unless we got something.
Interesting.
Yeah, it says, do you see that? Agenda 21st?
I do not see
it's
that.
On the original page you just linked me to.
Purposely focused on the thing.
Wait, time out. Is this
Newsflash.
Is the link you just sent me to the identical link to the one we were reading?
Does it say read the full proposed amendment and view the July 21st City Council agenda?
Time out. I'm going to reopen it. Like it says that on the thing.
Oh.
Actually, can you send me a screenshot just in our private chat just so I can see what you're looking at?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
I will.
Because I want to make sure I get it on stream, because there are people starting to tune in, and I'm getting messages like, holy crap, this is insane. And also people saying, wow, are you threatening people in CSG? And I'm like, no, just watch this thing, you stupid reactionary moron straw man. Although it's not really a straw man.
Hey, let's not call people morons who haven't properly earned the title.
CSG has earned it. Let's be real.
Young man.
How old are you?
I shall not disclose on public.
Fake transparency, fake woke. No, I'm kidding. I don't care. I just wanted to see like how much experience you have, because I'm 24. Like what am I, fucking in the grave? I hope not. My house. I want to be buried on my property, but like at my own natural causes, not like murdered and then buried in my backyard. Not like that. Just to be clear, I do not consent to being murdered.
Evermore.
So wait, okay. In all seriousness, I'm on that page. It says proposed personal property ordinance amendment. Is that what I'm looking at? Just like the page itself, or do you want me to click the quick links?
Correct. Don't click the quick links.
Good, because they suck anyways. Anyways, sorry. We're there. Continue.
Yes. Okay. Dadgum. Okay. I'm talking to the telephone. Excuse me.
You don't need to send the picture. I know what we're looking at, if that's what you're trying to do.
All right. Yes, I just did.
Perfect.
So, there, once it loads again, excuse me. Grandma Rosie has issues with technology.
It's okay. We all got our own issues. Except
Well,
Jesus. Except Jesus Christ.
Well,
boom. Christians in our audience. Shout out to the Christians, especially the Palestinian Christians. What am I talking? I guess I am Tucker Carlson. No. I have better politics than him. I like his rhetorical style because it makes Ted Cruz look funny and also Mike Huckabee look insane. But other than that, I don't really agree with him on his principles. Anyways, continue.
Yes, we're still technological malarkey. All right, we're here. So the City of Jackson intends to propose amendments to Chapter 17 of the City of Jackson Code of Ordinances and address unattended or excessive personal property in public spaces. The proposed amendment is intended to keep sidewalks, curb ramps, parks, and other public areas safe and accessible while protecting personal property or belongings and treating every person with dignity. Incoming aside, and my ass is made of chicken. Children, do not repeat this.
Children, if your parents are okay with it, you can repeat it. But unless they're not.
But only within the privacy of your own home.
Children, with your parents' permission, you can say swear words. I'm sorry, I was doing like a Disney fucking ad. Anyways, continue. I like where this is going, though. I like this interview. We got to do this again.
Absolutely. This has been absolutely fantastic. Of course, we're not quite done yet. The Jackson City Council is scheduled to consider the proposed amendment at its Tuesday, July 21st, 2026 meeting. This meeting begins at 6:30 p.m. in the second floor City Council chambers at Jackson City Hall, 161 Michigan Avenue. This is a proposed ordinance and has not been finalized. Let us make it clear. This is not an ordinance yet. We still have time to show up, show out, in style, with a level of professionalism that we might make sure that anybody who, for whatever reason, is not allowed to exist in public per this proposed ordinance can still exist in public. Now, there are a few quick links if you look down. You can read the full proposed amendment that I just read to you in my fake Midwestern Telecaster voice. You can view the July 21st City Council agenda. You can even tune in from the City of Jackson YouTube channel, where the City Council meetings are broadcast live and recorded. I would honestly recommend, if you are listening online and cannot make the drive out to Jackson, or the flight, for which there is no direct flight to the City of Jackson, you must travel from Detroit or Lansing. Speak your mind, or just show up and listen. Why is the city proposing this amendment? Everybody's asking this. I'm asking this. You're asking this. Hey, Tyler. Tyler? Excuse me? Who are you talking to?
Wait, you heard that?
Yes!
All of it?
Enough!
Oh, sorry. Family member got home. I was just saying hi, and also they can't hear them, but I guess, well, that's science for you. I just learned a thing. Next time, mute the mic entirely. My mic was literally on, but I was literally 15 feet away, and it still picked it up. So I got a good mic, I guess.
Good for us.
Anyways, continue.
So-
Sorry about that.
You're fine. You just cracked me up. That's all. Why is the city proposing this amendment? They say every person who calls Jackson home deserves sidewalks and public spaces they can safely walk, wheel, or travel through. Every person, whether they have a roof over their head or not, also deserves to be treated with compassion, respect, and dignity. On this, we can all agree. Thank the Lord. The City Council has identified urgent, specific safety and accessibility concerns in public rights-of-way, sidewalks, and parks that require a clear and consistent response. As an aside to the viewer, there has actually been recent news coverage and news footage of a particular homeless encampment located outside of the Carnegie Library in Jackson, Michigan. The news crews showed up yesterday, and from then on, there have been people showing up with food, which is delightful for those who have no home and no way or means of obtaining food otherwise. However, it can also, under the language of this bill, be considered a nuisance and easily disposed of without the need for any kind of citation if this this proposed ordinance is passed. The proposed amendment is intended to address how unattended or excessive personal property is stored in public places. It is not intended to criminalize homelessness or prohibit people from sleeping, sitting, or resting in public. Excuse me, what? That is in fact incorrect. Based off of punishable fines and costs of prosecution outlined within section 17-222, which is enforcement of this ordinance surrounding personal property, you can be charged $50 a day, or in lieu of a civil infraction citation, you could have a verbal or written warning. Well, what constitutes a verbal or written warning? A cop coming up to you and up to your tent and ripping it to pieces? Like they did with the encampments on the Diag in Ann Arbor? Listen, Ann Arbor, many of the people whom you benefit from for your education, such as the Glick building, that Glick sports building in Ann Arbor, guess where they came from? They came from Jackson. They've given loads upon loads upon loads of money to your school. It's about time you returned the favor. What the proposed amendment would do. The proposed amendment would keep sidewalks, curb ramps, and accessible routes open for people using wheelchairs, walkers, and strollers. During the warm months. Establish consistent expectations for unattended or excessive personal property in public areas. Require notice before most property is moved. Yes, I see. Notice. Notice where? Well, I don't think that matters when the bill is abhorrent, disgusting, classist, especially for a place as small as Jackson. Fun fact, we have 30,000 people here, roughly 30,000. And this year, the year of our Lord 2026, is the first year that our population has grown in any considerable fashion or form since the 1970s. Yes, that is in fact correct. You did hear me right. It has been over 50 years since our population has grown. Of course, this bill won't just require notice before most property is moved, theoretically. It requires belongings to be documented and safely stored for 30 days, except for trash, spoiled food, or genuine health and safety hazards. Well, what is considered a health and safety hazard? Someone's ADHD medicine? Someone's antipsychotic? In theory, no. But does a cop care? No, because a cop is not a doctor. Of course, this proposed ordinance would also allow stored belongings to be reclaimed at no cost and without identification. Theoretically. Practically, we do not know. It would also allow city staff and officers to provide warnings, referrals to services, or other voluntary solutions instead of automatically issuing a citation. So it's go get treated or die, or have your dispossessed life be disrupted even further. Of course, they say the proposed rule would apply to everyone, regardless of housing status. Yes, of course it would. They also say that the proposed amendment would not criminalize being homeless. Incorrect. Ban sleeping, sitting, or resting outside. Only partially incorrect. You cannot do it whilst in a tent or on a personal cot. Allow personal belongings to be discarded without notice, except when an item is trash or presents a genuine health or safety hazard. Up to the discretion of officers or city officials as outlined in 17 dash what? 216? Yes, under definitions of personal property, essential personal property, excess personal property, and other such things. It would also, according to them, not require an officer or city employee to issue a citation. Well, that is true. But what do you think is the likely outcome of this, Tyler?
I gotta be honest. Um, the more I've listened, and honestly, you can disagree with this because it's probably gonna be a hot take, but my hot take is that I don't think this comes from an evil place. I genuinely think they're fucking stupid. Like actually, like genuinely, they do not see the bigger picture of how this will be abused by everybody. That's how stupid they are. Not only that, but I have a question for you. If you could answer this in your opinion, since you want to be a lawyer one day, is that correct?
We'll see.
But well, okay. Regardless, you know the law at least a little bit. You're not a lawyer, not legal advice. Can't sue us. But my question to you
Oh
is,
no, absolutely not.
explain
This
to
is
me
not
how
legal
this.
advice.
Sorry, repeat that.
I am not a lawyer. This is not legal advice, nor is it fully founded within the nuances and understandings of competent and trained legal professionals. But continue.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say a question. How is there any argument that this does not clearly violate both the First and Sixth Amendments of the Constitution, which, if you don't know, you should know if you're an American. If not, whatever. Well, I'll tell you. You know, I can't fault somebody for not knowing stuff. Everybody's born a baby. We all shit in the same diapers, or not the exact same ones, but maybe the same type. But anyways, the First Amendment is about free speech, free expression, etc., and the Sixth Amendment is due process. How does this not obviously violate both those, and arguably more in the Constitution of the United States?
Well, technically speaking, this would not violate amendments regarding search and seizure because, in the view of the Constitution, of course, this is personal interpretation only. Take this with a grain of salt, at least. The idea, the legal foundation, is your home, your house, is your castle. You can protect it from unreasonable searches and seizures, and you can I mean, that's the basis of not just the Fourth Amendment but also the Second Amendment if you decide to protect it. However, when you are dispossessed of your home, of the vast majority of your belongings, and you live in public view, let's call it that, in public view, there is nothing stopping an officer from searching what is essentially your home now. and confiscating from that home anything that belongs to you. And further, the First Amendment, while not directly related, you must access within the plain language of this bill or ordinance, this proposed ordinance. It is implicated within the context of the requirement to seek out a permit. Now, within the language of the proposed ordinance, it does say that they will not discriminate against any person seeking a permit for any reason, no matter the viewpoint. They do say that. But the writing, the intention versus the application are worlds apart. Is that too far from the truth, you think?
Honestly, it's so backwards the times we live in that even if that is the truth, people often do not operate based on the truth. And it's unfortunate, but that's why I play rhetorical games and try to put myself in the shoes of, like, let's say, like the pro-life people I mentioned earlier. It's not because I 100% agree with them. Obviously, I do not. I probably disagree with them more than I agree. I consider myself, on the literal terms, pro-life, but pro-lifers are not pro-life largely because they don't consider wars and stuff to be violence. So, like I'm more pro-life than pro-lifers are, and because the term has been so bastardized beyond the point of recognition and what those words actually mean in the English language, it doesn't even matter. And what you said is totally most likely the case. And regardless of that, all we can do is use our voices now, legally, of course. I just want to remind people, if anyone in the government wants to say, "Oh, he wants us to be harassed," nope, legally. This is something that you should do. We need to pack this room, obviously abiding by fire codes. We're not going to break the law. We're not going to do anything that is a clearly defined statute, is something we can't do, that's also been upheld in court. We will not break those laws. I'm down for a little civil disobedience, but even then, I'm not encouraging you to break laws. And if somebody does get arrested, like I said, just reach out to us. I know people who do pro bono work. Our only thing is go to this meeting online or in person. And even if, let's say, worst case scenario, they pass it, they say, "Fuck you, go fuck yourself." We cannot let this continue, whether we're going to sue them or find somebody to sue them or whatever the thing is. I don't know the process where you have somebody who has standing right in the city of Jackson, or hell, I might have standing, honestly, if I walk into Jackson with how insane this law is. Regardless of what we do, we need to, first, try to stop it before it happens, and then afterwards, we will take every goddamn step to make sure this is thrown out in court, overturned, and somehow, if both those avenues fail, we will go one by one and remember those names. That's one thing that the Democratic Party doesn't do well, and I would argue, sorry to say this, pro-Palestine party, they need to do better. They do it better than the Democrats, but not, is remember those names. Be obnoxious. Remember the names of every single sitting city council member who said this and proposed this, and either get them to apologize to the residents of Jackson and the homeless community in Jackson and every American. This is a spit in the face of an American. Honestly, it's a spit in the face of human beings, and make them apologize. And if they do not apologize and tangibly undo this law, we will not stop. Every election, I don't care if it's one election, a by-election, 2 elections, or we wait until they literally die of natural causes. Again, no violence. We cannot forget this. That's the problem with a lot of people, is they have way too short a memory span. You need to know that they did this and hold them accountable every step of the way. People say, hold people accountable. I'm going to post it once on my Instagram. Not good enough. I'm sorry. I know you're trying to do the right thing. Not good enough. It has to be every single day within the confines of not quote unquote harassing them or whatever, that we remind people that this is somebody who is elected to represent you in the city of Jackson, or if you're outside of the city, they are somebody that can literally voted to violate your rights if you step foot in this city. And not only that, but if this did get upheld in court, that would violate the rights everywhere, because tons of cities will pass stuff like this. You think Gavin Newsom cares about the homeless? He pretends to, and he's not even good at that. And he's a Democrat. Not even talking about the Republicans that run cities. The point is, this affects you whether you want to admit it or not. You can't be like, this is just a Jackson thing. Oh, it's just Jackson. I live in fucking Florida. It doesn't affect me. No. If this gets upheld in court and that goes all the way to the Supreme Court of the United States and they decline to hear the case, or they say, you know what? We can turn homeless people into glue. That will affect you in Florida. That will affect you in Georgia. That will affect you in fucking Louisiana. Hell, it will affect you in Puerto Rico or fucking Virgin Islands. It doesn't matter. If you are on American soil, this could affect you. And not only could it affect you, it is. Why even open Pandora's box? Why even risk it and let them happen just because they have the label of Republican or just because you're annoyed by homeless people? That is not acceptable. That is not an acceptable reason as an American. Sorry, I was cooking.
You're all right.
Did I do good?
So, sir.
Sorry, I just wanted to make it clear because one, I was genuinely a little pissed, but also two, like, it really does grind my gears when people say, oh, let's get accountability. What the fuck does that mean? Be specific.
You think this will put a bee in your bonnet?
What does that mean?
Congratulations. We're going to scroll down.
I don't want a bee in my bonnet. I don't know if I'm allergic or not, but continue.
So, of course, the city of Jackson also addresses the impact in saying an ordinance cannot solve the housing crisis. The proposed personal property ordinance is one tool for maintaining safe and accessible public spaces.
Wait, time out. Just real quick. What part are you reading? I want to put it on stream.
It is It is beneath this community belongs to everyone. So it's the next one after that. And it's after the section.
That's the biggest cap I've ever seen. But anyways, continue. I'm going to get water, so I'll be gone for 2 minutes, but stream will be able to hear you. And I have everything from this community belongs to everyone to a call to our community. It's all on stream.
Actually, can you scoot it down just a little bit further to an ordinance cannot solve the housing crisis?
Let me see how far I can zoom out without it being unreadable.
No, just scroll it down a little and leave it up at the header.
I know, but if it's so small in text, it won't be able to read.
Oh.
But I got it at 80%, and how far do you want down? I'll try my best.
Just leave it there. It's all right, love.
Okay, I put it at 90%, and you can see how community partners can help.
Okay. The proposed personal property ordinance is one tool for maintaining safe and accessible public spaces. It is not a solution to homelessness, and it was not designed to be a housing policy.
Okay, time out real quick.
Yeah?
I just have to point out that their website isn't even centered, and it's pissing me off. But continue. So not only are they fucking evil, but they're also bad at doing things. And I think that was apparent, but just had to say it. Continue.
Yes, of course. An ordinance cannot build new housing, expand shelter capacity, provide behavioral health treatment, or help someone overcome the financial and personal barriers that can prevent them from securing a permanent home. Ending homelessness requires coordinated action from local governments, housing and service providers, landlords, developers, employers, non-profit organizations, faith communities, healthcare providers, and residents with lived experience. Of course. Excuse me. Let's just think about what they're saying here. They're saying that this doesn't even do anything. They're saying that all it's really doing, they're not saying that it's a solution. It's just increasing and maintaining safe and accessible public spaces. I visited one of the homeless encampments this afternoon, or the homeless encampment that has made the news, our local WILX. They saw that, like, they went there, I think. If not WILX, then one of the other local news outlets. They talked to people. I've walked through there, and while I see that there might be an issue for someone who is in a wheelchair, the folks there are also people, and they can also understand and empathize, and they would probably be more than happy to clear a path if asked, like any other person it is not hard to think that just maybe, if given the opportunity, if given the bare minimum of help moving their things to another spot that is close to where the resources are in the city of Jackson, but is not an obstruction, that they would not go on their own. They would go on their own. And it is entirely probable. In fact, I can't give it a 100% guarantee, but I would say at least 90%. They don't want to be there to begin with. They probably had a home of their own with a warm bed and warm food in their cupboards or in their refrigerators that they would prepare for their families and people who loved them. But for some reason, whether by act of God or act of violence and poverty, they have made their way here. And it is not our place, yours and mine, to say to them, I'm sorry, but because you're not affluent enough to have a roof over your head, to have warm food in your belly 3 times a day, that you cannot access a reliable shower, that you do not have access to steady employment for one reason or another, I'm sorry. You do not deserve to exist in public. If they are not allowed to exist in public as people, then none of us are allowed to exist in public as people. Now, this particular ordinance is not new. This is not novel in the slightest. Depending on where you are, both in the United States and in the rest of the world, you might well have a city ordinance or a public law or a presidential executive order, as we do in this country, criminalizing homelessness. And that, my friends, is disgusting. And I think we can all agree. This country was built on the bones of the indigenous people. Where I particularly sit, I sit on the lands that belong to the Anishinaabe Three Fires Confederacy. That land was taken by force, and it was ceded under duress, under several treaties in the 1800s. Most likely, given where the city of Jackson is, the 1819 Treaty of Saginaw, just like in East Lansing and many other places throughout the state. Or Lansing, our state capital, and other places throughout the state. And many of the buildings in this country, not specifically in Michigan or Jackson, were built with the enslaved labor of those who were essentially kidnapped from their home countries, brought over on slave ships, pressed into perpetual servitude without payment, subjected to horrific treatment, and were forced to build this country's capital. Many of the places that many of my compatriots call home. Yes, I can hear you just fine. Can everybody hear him now?
Yeah, just continue. You're good. I didn't have anything to say. I was doing audio tests to make sure they were getting the game you're spitting. I do not 100% agree, not because I disagree, but because I missed some of it. So I want to make sure that you didn't say any wild shit in like the 10 seconds where I was adjusting my audio.
Mm.
But anyways,
I only
continue.
said that the country was built on the bones of indigenous people.
I
and
disagree. It was built by
with
white.
blood,
No, I'm
sweat,
kidding. I'm
and
joking.
tears. Well,
Okay.
I mean, Italians did help in the 20th century.
Viva la Italia. Continue.
But and other immigrants as well. We get the job done for a reason.
Bless you. And also, was that a Hamilton reference or is that a quote before Hamilton? Also, bless you again. Or Gesundheit.
Gripes. Yeah, that was a Hamilton reference. We all need a little extra levity in our lives.
I got to be honest with you, though. I think in terms of this bill, we should not miss our shot. And I'm not going to miss my shot. I'm going to go to the city council meeting and report live. But also, in addition to that, continue spitting game if you want. I think that a lot of people are going to see this, and I'm going to try to make this go as far as possible. But if you want to literally rant for the next 2 hours, I'm going to be here.
Well, unfortunately, I'm running low on Steam. But
Steam is actually a really good app. It's actually really good for downloading video games, and they actually have pretty reasonable prices. But if you're running low on Steam, there's alternative gaming applications.
Now, you know what I mean. I'm getting tired, hon. Now, I would invite you to share with the members of your stream some of the coverage surrounding the homeless encampment, specifically what Shalonda Hunt, who is a member of City Council, and Mayor, our mayor has to say about this as well. Because their voices loom quite large. As a matter of fact, Shalonda Hunt is running for the city of Jackson's mayoral race. I do not particularly endorse one candidate or another at all. It is not my place to endorse, and I know whilst you might take a political stance, I generally tend to refrain from doing so.
Okay, before I do that, but first let me ask you why. Why don't you take political stances?
Not publicly. I like to keep that.
Well, for one, you're literally under a pseudonym right now, but also for two, why?
Because humanity is important above all, and humanity does not ascribe to any conventional, particular
Shut the hell up.
ideological party.
I'm sorry, that was rude. But no, I'm okay. I know we're talking about a really important thing right now, but can I pick your brain for a sec?
Well, it depends. What's the question?
Well, I just don't understand. So you're taking a moral position about not endorsing, yet you see immoral actions. Wouldn't the moral thing to be endorse and say, sorry, I'm not saying against you, the candidate that you're not endorsing. I'm not saying you're a bad person or deserve to die. You just don't deserve to be mayor. Why is that wrong?
Well, I reckon everyone should have to decide for themselves who they ought to vote for or not vote for and come to their own conclusions based off of the data presented. At heart, my friend, I'm a scientist. And that extends
can I
into
answer
my
it
political
scientifically?
views as well. All right, fine.
So scientifically, if we're talking about at a literal biological level, humans take in stimuli, and that obviously reflects emotions, whether irrationally or rational, or if you have predispositions or genetic conditions that make you fucking insane. And by insane, I'm not disparaging the differently abled. I have ADHD. I say mentally ill. I don't care. I'm a very competent individual, and yet I have ADHD and disabilities and chronic illnesses. I do not care. Use whatever stupid words you want. All I want is for humanity to be okay. And if we're talking about politics specifically, people are influenced not just by other people, obviously, but ads and political ads. And in my opinion, even though I understand what you're saying, you don't want to be the sole reason that somebody mindlessly follows because that doesn't break the cycle. However, using your voice, in my opinion, is not teaching them. You can teach them how to think and also issue an endorsement and then just at the end say, look, don't vote on them just because I told you to. Go look up this name that I say I support. I don't understand what's wrong about that.
Well, here's what my thoughts are on the particular mayoral race. Every single candidate has their own strengths and weaknesses. Some have the strength of name recognition, some have the strength of persistence, and some have the strength of knowing how to actually get things done.
Do you want me to put it up on stream, like the candidates, the major candidates?
Sure.
Perfect,
There
because
are
I honestly
5
don't know that
of
much.
them.
So, like, you explaining this, even though, yes, it's technically not about the bill, it's adjacently related. And honestly, a lot of people could really use this. So, literally, this would be important. Obviously, if you're running out of steam, I can do it myself if you want.
Of course, I want you to also show the the quotes of some of the folks within Jackson, the major figures, because their words speak louder than anything I have to say.
If you have a specific link you want me to go to, feel free to send in our private chat. If not, I have an article by MLive, 5 candidates vying for Jackson mayor in August primary. Is that an acceptable article, or do you not trust them?
Yeah, that would be perfectly fine.
MLive,
is
low key,
fairly decent.
kind of cooking. I've only been interviewed by them once, and that's pretty much the extent of my only interaction with them. But not only did they give me a fair interview, they asked me tough questions, and I killed it. And since I killed it, the reporting, in my opinion, was neutral, shades of neutral to positive, based on just what I said. And they didn't like edit shit out and like make it a weird way. They only edited stuff for sake of time and clarity, but they never edited the substance of what I said. So like MLive, based on my one personal interaction, in addition to being basically almost a lifelong reader at this point, is a reputable news organization for all things the state of Michigan. But of course, I'm sure some assholes work there too. My experience has been 100% positive. Anyways, all that being said, what do you want to say about this?
Now, can you rattle off that first name that you see?
Absolutely. So I am looking at 5 different guys, and it says from far left and clockwise are Christy May Davis.
Oh, Christy May Davis comes from Vandercook Lake. She does not know the city of Jackson. She does not know what real residents of the city of Jackson go through on a daily basis and the issues they actually face. She is insulated by her residency within Vandercook Lake and quite frankly, the relative size of Vandercook Lake compared
Time
to
out.
Jackson.
Obviously, not everybody here is a Jackson resident, although that'd be really cool if the entire city of Jackson was watching. Other than possibly doxing them, is that like a gated community, a fancy ass part of town?
No, Vandercook Lake does not sit within the bounds of the city of Jackson.
What?
It sits within the bounds of Summit Township. Which
Wait. Time out. How is she allowed to run?
Partially. That is an excellent question.
Okay, I'll look that up while you vamp.
Answer. Okay, other than that, she doesn't walk the streets of the city every day. She has not lived within the city of Jackson ever, as far as I am aware. And she is incredibly conservative, despite how she may portray herself to the public. What's the next candidate that you have on your list?
So, obviously, you're not into issuing endorsements. Come to your own conclusion, folks. Or what is it? No, that's Rush Limbaugh. I'm trying to help them think their own conclusions. But regardless, you're like woke Rush Limbaugh. Radical Rush. So anyways, obviously I'm not going to speak for you, but it sounds like she sucks. Although I haven't met this woman. Maybe she's very nice in person, just has awful opinions, or maybe both. Maybe she has awful opinions and is an awful person. I haven't met her. I'd love to interview her. I would interview almost anyone as long as they're not going to show up to the interview with a weapon and try to stab me. So, which is why I usually do it from home anyways. Anyways, that tangent aside, yeah. Based on what I've heard in just now, she sounds like she sucks. So right now we have 4 more candidates who are listed here. Derek J. Dobies. Who is that?
Derek Dobies is a former mayor of the city of Jackson. His mayoral career stretched from 2017 to roughly 2019. I think he ran again and lost and is now, or he ran again and won. And then after him, his successor was Mayor Daniel Mahoney. I do remember his name. Derek is reasonable. He has lived within the city. He has roots here, and he has seen, while insulated within the Queens neighborhood, he has seen some of what the city of Jackson has been and what it will become. He is in fact the person who spearheaded and brought forth Bright Walls to Jackson, the murals that you see. As an aside to anyone, anywhere, if ever you want to come visit, this city will welcome you with open arms to come and see the murals on these walls. We have international artists. We had international artists come in and paint these huge, beautiful pieces of art. And that was his baby. That was his thing to bring forth. And it made the downtown come alive in ways that haven't been seen in a long time. And I honestly hope we do continue to see more art and more public works like that being brought into our downtown area. Like more opportunities for small businesses, because there aren't just like right now, as a promotional for those who might be thinking of coming down or out. On the first Tuesday of every month, you can get a lunch at a local restaurant from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. for $10. In this economy and in this day and age, especially for a small business, that is unheard of. And the fact that they're doing that is kind of massive, despite our small stature. Another thing that Mr. Dobies and Mr. Mahoney have championed is, funnily enough for us, the 100 Homes program. That is a program where ordinary people can buy a home within the city of Jackson, pick a design that they like out of a few designs, and have it be built. New construction, affordable for a middle class family, new construction of homes within Jackson. That is a thing that is happening right now. That is a benefit to those with the means to purchase said home and to mortgage said home and to put equity into said home. Not everyone can do that. And I'm not saying to the people out there who have the means to buy a home in other places, oh, come move here. We're just a perfect little slice of heaven. No, we're not. If you're in somewhere that's looking for somewhere more affordable and you're willing to pay a higher dollar than a local, please do not come here. With all the love in my heart, please do not buy a home here. You can visit for sure. There's not much to visit. A number of years, my running joke has been that a form of entertainment in the city of Jackson is to choose a new garbage collection service, because there are multiple businesses that collect rubbish from Jackson residents that are vying for the Jacksonian dollar. Yes, that is a form of entertainment in this town, is picking a new trash collector. So, if you like that, if you like municipal services and Unicode and are of low to middling income, come out. We'd like you. But otherwise, please, for those of us who want to afford to live here long term, who grew up here and wish to grow old and be buried here, when they're old as bloomin' dirt, saying this for my own self, please, move to Grass Lake. Move to Detroit. Well, don't gentrify Detroit anymore either. Move somewhere where you can afford and are not a gentrifying force. But if you do choose to move here, let's get our hands dirty, huh? Anyway, who's that next candidate you were talking about, or you were hoping to list?
That's a very good subheading. He sounds better than Christie, but obviously I want to hear the full slate. And we've got, I was going to say your boy, but I think she identifies as a woman, Shalonda Hunt.
Oh, she's a real treat.
Like,
Um,
I'm assuming that was sarcasm, although I honestly
yes,
be as
that was entirely
honest as you want.
sarcastic. That was entirely sarcastic.
And of course, a timeout before we continue. I should have said this already. If any candidate or fucking staffer sees this and they say defamation, it's not true, I'm gonna do factual stuff as much as possible at the end to try and make sure that we didn't fucking defame anybody. And even if we said some not so nice things, if it's legal, you can go fuck yourself. Continue.
Shalonda Hunt is not a good candidate, plain and simple. She was appointed to her seat on the city council, and a relative of hers, I cannot specify which relative for lack of memory and a wish to be accurate, is contracted with the city of Jackson to mow the empty lots within the city of Jackson, or the lots of abandoned properties within the city of Jackson. And there was no disclosure of such conflict of interest. And it is entirely possible, though much more research and confirmation will have to go into that, so I say entirely possible, that...
Wait, no, time out. Although it sounds pretty bad as is, I do actually want to go into it with proof. One, because I don't want to get sued for defamation or whatever, or saying like this journalist didn't do enough and he's a liar and he should have said that I'm awesome. But also for two, because I'm actually curious, is there like public evidence of what you're saying?
If you can FOIA the city for the contracts, there was no disclosure of a conflict of interest.
Repeat, a conflict of interest between what and what, just to be clear for the audience, because obviously I don't want to get sued.
Between Shalonda Hunt and this relative of hers.
Is that relative public?
They're a contractor with the city of Jackson, and they are responsible for mowing. They're a private company responsible for mowing the lawns mowing.
Do you have the name of that company? I'm not trying to get you sued, but obviously if we find anything, actually you can text it to me if you're worried about getting sued. Just text me the name and I'll look it up.
For God's sake.
I'm trying to. I know it's annoying and pedantic. Wait, time out. Repeat what you said.
I can't remember it. That's the issue.
Oh shit. Okay. Well, if it comes to you during the stream, text it to me privately. I'm trying to not get you sued, but I'll look up if I can find it somewhere, and you can just continue while I do that.
I would recommend you look up contracts surrounding the removal of noxious weeds from vacant lots in the city of Jackson.
I'll take a look at this, but you can continue because you were cooking, and I just want to make sure we're not going to get sued. I doubt we're going to get sued, but you never know. That's why I'm being annoyingly pedantic.
No, I appreciate your due diligence.
I know, CSG doesn't. They're like, oh my God, the meeting's so long. Well, fuck off. Suck my cock, metaphorically.
Why must we bring it back?
No, because that's literally their argument. And also, like, I covered it on my channel. I was live yesterday,
Incorrect venue.
What's up?
Incorrect venue.
What do you mean?
Why we're speaking of the venue of the city of Jackson, and then you.
Well, I don't know if you know this, but the city of Jackson and the University of Michigan are 20-minute drive away. Not only that, but I know at least one Jackson resident personally who goes to U of M. So although CSG is not Jackson, there is at least some marginal overlap between people who are either invested in both, or for the vast majority of people who don't give a fuck until their rights are affected, could affect them in both instances. Was that a good answer?
Good enough for me.
Oh, actually, one more addendum. I covered it yesterday, and in case anybody watched yesterday and watches today, context. Anyways, continue.
Yeah. And when pressed on snow removal, on these city lots during the wintertime, there was no response. And the city lots, the sidewalks for these city lots were not cleared at all ever during the wintertime. They claim that they want to maintain the Americans with Disabilities Act, and yet they do not do so for half the year, functionally speaking, because wintertime runs from November to May. Or not May, March. Excuse me. November to March, which is functionally half the year. And this is sometimes best case scenario. We have been known to get snow in April. Who's that next candidate?
So Shalonda, conflict of interest, but before we move on, I just wanted to ask, like, because we were focusing mostly on her personal background, what are her policies for the city? I feel like that'd be important.
She-
Although, trust me, I just to be clear, I obviously if somebody disqualifies themselves from office personally, that's one thing. But I think to be clear, because America's so shitty, to form my opinion, but also audience's opinions like you wanted, I would genuinely vote for a corrupt person if I thought that the other person was worse, because that's how bad American politics are. So continue.
She pays lip service to wanting to improve the city of Jackson. And while she is the head of the Youth Council, the Youth Advisory Council, or YAC, what that YAC and youth involvement leads to, I mean, some things it does lead to, like YAC basically put on the Juneteenth celebration in the city of Jackson, and it was a big deal. But that seems to be the only thing she does, is focus on the youth. While that is a good thing, that is not the only thing we need to worry about. We need to make sure that folks beyond the youth are also taken care of, such as the elderly, the indigent or poor, and those otherwise left behind by society, such as the recently released from the many prisons that are located incredibly close to the downtown in the city of Jackson. We're not known as Prison City for no reason. Now, who's that next candidate?
Dean K. Morgan. And unfortunately, MLive doesn't have a face shot of him. They just have a picture of him that's like 240 fucking pixels. So I'll try to find something better and put it on stream. At him at a podium
Dina K.
speaking.
Morgan is actually a woman.
Oh, sorry. I fucking ADHD-induced dyslexia. I thought it said Dean. Dina. And also, to be fair, I am not sexist and I am not a male supremacist. Literally, the picture's so grainy and it shows a woman standing next to a man. So I thought it was Dean was the guy with the mic because there's a man speaking. I am woke. Okay, continue.
Dina Morgan has ideals that would jive with many of the people on the left, like the idea of actual affordable apartments and jobs training and things like that. But she doesn't outline much about how you'd actually pay for it. She keeps things very vague, and I keep wondering, where are we gonna get the money for that? We of little means, especially within the city. You move here for love, not for other reasons. Is how I shall put it.
Well, my favorite player as a kid on the Tigers was named Austin Jackson. So can I move?
I mean, if you want to, you're more than welcome.
I have a really funny story about that real quick, just to lighten the mood. But like, I don't know if she wants me telling this, but I don't care because it's funny. I believe my mom, when she was single, held up like a a sign that said "Marry me, Austin Jackson" at a Tigers game because she thought he was hot. Sorry,
Oh,
Mom.
that's
If you see this,
adorable.
Mom, I apologize. You're a great mother, and I was just telling a funny story. And plus, to be fair, Austin Jackson was a millionaire, and he's also interviewed remarkably well and was well spoken, so he seems smart. So like, I don't know. I don't want people to think less of you, my mother, and if they even know you at all. But like, funny and also related to what I said. And let's go back to serious shit.
Yeah. John Wilson, I think, is the last one, right? That last candidate. Am I correct?
Huh?
Am I correct that John Wilson is the last candidate?
Yes. I thought you said John Forsyth. I'm like, who the fuck's that? John Wilson.
John
And he's a white
Forsyth-
guy?
Oh yeah, John
I'm voting
Wilson.
for him.
No.
No, I'm kidding.
No, you
I'm kidding. I don't live in Jackson, and also, I'm not a white supremacist. I think it's pretty obvious that I'm joking, but for the fucking idiots who want to say, "Look, my enemy is white supremacist." Sorry, guess again.
Yes. Well, John Wilson would be in full support of the proposed ordinance that is up for discussion on July 21st at 6:30 p.m. on the second floor of City Hall. This would be something that he would delight in, and I bet you he's mad that he didn't come up with it himself. To be incredibly frank with you, because at the Juneteenth mayoral candidate forum that happened the weekend of Juneteenth, he brought up the homeless encampments throughout the city of Jackson. He brought up that they were a problem that needed to be addressed and gotten rid of. I kid you not. For anyone sitting there going, is she being facetious? I'm not. I wish I was. And with regard to his other policies, with regard to his history, he has tried to run for mayor multiple times and has lost every single time. If it has not been made clear to him yet, the city of Jackson does not want him as their mayor.
Wow. So that's why we should vote for him and give him $1 million. Wait, time out. Okay, wait, time out. I have a serious, sincere question.
Yes.
So there's 5 candidates. I obviously viability is important, but we can talk about that later. I'm just curious. All of them sound like they have different things that suck about them, although Derek sounds like probably the best. Is that my assessment correct? I know you don't want to do endorsements, but that's my question to you.
Derek is still a little bit of a slime ball, and I don't.
Well, what the fuck? There's 5 candidates, and they're all shit. What do you want me to do? Vote for Mickey Mouse? I'm voting for Austin Jackson for mayor of Jackson.
You crack me up, Tyler. You
I hope
sure
not, because
do.
that could be considered battery. I do not want to crack anyone up. Unless it was consensual.
No, forevermore. No.
Sorry, I'm going too much. But my point is, in all sincerity, like, God, it'd be so much easier if you just say, hey, this person is the least shitty, and just be honest with me. But you're like, I don't want to tell endorsements. Fine, I'll come to my own conclusion. But like, seriously, if you were to answer that question, who do you think is the least shitty? Not saying you endorse them. It's like Hassan Piker. Hassan voted for Kamala Harris, but he didn't endorse her. Who would you vote for but not endorse?
Dobies. He's got the experience. He knows how to actually make things work, and he is one of 2 people in this mayoral race who has actually read the city charter.
Okay, time out. 1, who is the other person? And 2, why is the bar so fucking low? And 3, this is a comment more than the question, but I see why Jackson has problems as a city.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, first 2 questions. Who's the other person? And also, 2, how was Jackson ever awesome? Like, how did you guys fall off so hard? Not you personally, but like the city.
How did we fall off so hard? Well, that decision started back in the when was UMich founded?
1817, I believe. And by the way, shout out. Father Gabriel Richard, priest, founded it as a Catholic school. Obviously, I'm not Christian anymore, and you want me to be, but whatever. Still, OG founded UMich at I think it was called like the Catholic something of Michigan, and then it became UMich, and it was before Michigan was even a state. But anyways, yeah.
Now, when did UMich move to Ann Arbor?
I'm gonna look that up rather than speculating, since I have access to an infinite knowledge stick in front of me, and I almost forgot that that exists.
Mhm.
Let's go to Wikipedia.
Mhm.
Wikipedia has never told a lie, by the way. It's true. It's 100% true. Obviously, if you're stupid, I was joking. But generally, like, Wikipedia is reliable, not because it's 100% accurate, but because it's, peer done. So, like, even when shit's fucked up, like, they'll put notices out and whatever. So, like, it's not designed to be 100% accurate. And even real encyclopedias aren't. I would say Wikipedia is the best source aggregator that I've seen. It means go to the source, but not take Wikipedia at its word unless you're like, I don't know, don't have a lot of time, or you're like shitting or something and you have like 2 minutes to look up a fact.
Well, humans in aggregate are more intelligent than they are individually.
I thought you were
So-
saying the other way around for a second. I'm like, what the fuck's wrong with you? I'm like, oh, wait, I misheard that. Anyways, yeah, so I got the data on here. So obviously, 1817, I called it. Hell yeah. It was called the University of Michigania, and it had the alternate name, I don't know how to pronounce this, the Catholpistimiad of Michigan. So that's cool. And it
Now,
was
when did
renamed, it
move
seems
to Ann
like.
Arbor?
I'm sorry, repeat?
When was it moved to Ann Arbor?
I don't know. But in 1821, it seems like they changed their name to the University of Michigan. I'm going to go check on the history. Wow. By the way, you know what? Why the fuck am I not bringing this on stream? I'm like, you guys should really see this. I forgot. I'm on stream. I can do whatever the fuck I want. Freedom. Okay, I'm going to put this on stream while we do this. I forgot. I have freedom. I can do whatever the fuck I want. Within the confines of the law, of course. Not a threat, dipshit. Not to you, to the greater straw man. Anyway, so I have it up on here. We're on the Wikipedia. Are you on Wikipedia, Rosie?
I am not, but if you tell me the year, I'll be able to give you more context on the history
Were
of
you alive back
Jackson.
then?
Bear with.
I was just messing with you. So I'm at the part after 1821. Early years in Ann Arbor. It says, construction first began in 1839, but originally they planned as early as it seems like a decade before to move into Ann Arbor. So I guess technically, depending on your definition, they officially came to Ann Arbor in 1839, but they didn't actually finish buildings until like 1841, roughly.
So in the 1820s and 30s, Ann Arbor and Jackson were in the same place economically and socially, etc. They were
Thank you,
on the
Andrew
same
Jackson,
playing
for being an
field.
idiot. Thank you.
May I finish?
Well, okay, wait, time out. This is something that I actually have. I know I've gone on a lot of rants, but like, for one, it's my show, so I can do whatever I want. I'm evil. But two, I have an econ degree, and I actually know about this. I'm wondering, Rosie, do you know why the Panic of 1837 happened?
No.
Well, perfect. This is literally up my knowledge, and if we're gonna have fun here tonight, and why not? Because I don't want to be depressed after the fucking bill passes and kills homeless people. God forbidding, of course. But
we still have the potential.
I know. I'm not trying to be pessimistic. It's just I've lived on this planet too long, so call it realism. But regardless, I want to explain it real quick to my audience. Panic of 1837.
Okay, Eeyore.
What's up?
Okay, Eeyore.
Does he make like a noise or something? I guess. Sorry, I couldn't remember what the fuck he says. I haven't watched fucking Winnie the Pooh. I didn't even watch the new horror movie done by AI or whatever. But regardless, the Panic of 1837 was basically the worst depression in American history other than the Great Depression. And it sounds crazy. Like, why doesn't history...
far.
What's up?
Thus far.
You know what?
We ain't done yet.
But you were just telling me a second ago to be positive about the bill not passing, so I'm going to tell you the same. Be more positive about America's future if it exists, or be positive about the new country of Michigan, or Michigan joining Canada or whatever, or soft succession and we join fucking blue states or purple states, or we create states with just the fucking Great Lakes people and we hog all the fresh water and deprive it and sell it at a profit. But regardless, that's dark. Let me continue. The Panic of 1837 was literally, and I'm not exaggerating, almost entirely caused by Andrew Jackson and the members of Congress who enabled him, even though some of them literally were doing it only for political reasons and didn't actually believe that it was a smart idea.
That tracks.
Well, here's the thing. What did he do? And I'll make it quick because we got plenty of other shit to cover. But there was a man we mentioned earlier in this conversation in a bit about my shot named Alexander Hamilton. And if you've seen Hamilton, since I know a lot of people have, and that's sort of like a cultural touchstone that people can use when talking about American history, Hamilton's big thing, one of the biggest, most important things he did, other than obviously trying to abolish slavery from day one and also being an immigrant and being awesome, was the national treasury. And what did he want to do by that? Remember the compromise and also the room where it happens? What happens with that? Also, did I hit that note?
Yes, you did.
Thank you.
Continue.
I'm really trying because I've been talking a lot. The fact that I hit that note without breaking was fantastic, and I'm going to give myself a pat on the back. But regardless, that whole song, what was it about? It was about a compromise where the fucking Southerners wanted to just drive to work, well, on a fucking horse and carriage or whatever and get pulled by slaves in nearest to Virginia because that's where they're from. So the compromise was, yes, we'll do a national bank even though we think you're being fucking...
Weird.
like you're trying to control stuff, but we'll put the capital in a new place near Virginia, aka Washington, D.C. And Hamilton obviously took that compromise because who gives a fuck if the drive's longer, you dipshit? Just buy an apartment or like, I don't know, something. But anyways, that's why it's in D.C. And we had a bank. And why am I bringing this up in relation to the Panic of 1837? Well, Andrew Jackson, for all his faults, he has a lot of fucking faults. For all of his faults, the reason why I don't think he's the worst president, but he's up there, he's not the worst, but he's up there, is because he truly was the first common man president who wasn't a fucking, son of a whatever. There weren't billionaires at that time, technically, I guess with inflation
Richie
maybe.
Riches.
What's up?
He wasn't a Richie Rich. How's that?
That's, you know what? That's the technical term. He's not Richie Rich. And obviously, it's cool to see somebody who's actually the common man win. The only problem is if you have existed in a reactionary society with a lack of education, it turns out the common man who's genuinely a common man might just be an idiot and reactionary. And the problem is Andrew Jackson was very reactionary. USA, USA. And the thing he hated was, oh my God, this national treasury is infringing on my rights. I killed some people in Louisiana and I fought a battle and won 3 weeks after the war ended, but the word didn't get there because we didn't have fucking internet. And I'm awesome because I'm common man and I'm pompous and I drink and I probably have a personality disorder. I'm Andrew Jackson. And so what he did was, this bank is fucked up. Let's get rid of it. We don't need a bank. Why would we have a national bank? That's the government doing too much. And at first, no negative consequences. Damn, this Andrew Jackson guy must be a genius. But the problem is, things like that, especially national policy, don't work in fucking instant reactionary cycles. And that's why reactionary policy is stupid as fuck. And Andrew Jackson was an idiot, in my opinion. Both an asshole and an idiot, which is unfortunately not uncommon these days. But regardless, he did that. And what happens right after Andrew Jackson's 2 terms, the Trump before there was Trump, that's what I always call him. I think he's the most comparable to Trump, although funny enough, he actually did military service, whereas Trump avoided it. So you could argue Trump is worse, even though Andrew Jackson did a native genocide, multiple genocides arguably. Still, by the way, timeout. Do I know my stuff, Rosie?
You certainly talk like you do.
Hell yeah, I'm woke. Anyways, no, I'm not, but I'm going to continue. The point is, right after Andrew Jackson was out of office, even though there wasn't a constitutional amendment to prevent the 2 terms, he was like, you know what? I'm still going to do the Washington thing, even though he's a snotty rich guy. That sounded like a good idea, and although that's technically not true, Washington wasn't always rich. He was, more well off than the average guy, but he's probably the closest to not being Richie Rich compared to the other founding fathers out of all of them, other than Hamilton, of course.
Was a shit ass.
I'm sorry?
But he certainly was a shit ass.
We'll talk about that another time. I think he's the best president of all time, and I think that's a fantastic debate to have. I'm not saying he's a good guy, but I'm saying as president, he's the best president of all time, and I don't think it's close. Regardless, topic at hand. Martin Van Buren. Who the fuck was that? I believe he was the vice president of Andrew Jackson. Let me double check. I'm pretty sure he was. And because everyone was like, we love this guy. He's a genius. He's awesome. He loves our country. USA, USA. And so they voted in his successor. Basically, he was... hold up 1 second. Let me double check to make sure I just got my facts right before fucking history nerds get up my asshole. What was he, the vice president?
I think so.
I thought he was. I could be mistaken. Oh, he was. Okay, I got my history right. Fuck you, history nerd who doubted me. You're wrong. I'm right. So he was Andrew Jackson's vice president, second half of his term, and obviously if you love the guy and you think he's a genius, boom, let's vote his nominated successor, basically. And what happens immediately as he takes office? Panic of 1837. You're telling me that not having a central bank to somewhat regulate the money supply and also issue loans to both rich people and also people who are losing their land and produce factors of production. You're telling me getting rid of that bank is a bad idea and has a lot of consequences, and because you don't have a bank, when the business cycle ends, there's no bottom to how much hurt can happen? You're telling me that would happen? Really?
Yep.
Then I wouldn't have supported him. I voted for him twice. Anyway, sorry, that's the hypothetical Andrew Jackson voter. I'm not a time traveler. But yes, that's why it happened. And did you learn something, Rosie?
Nothing that surprised me.
But you learned something, and my econ degree was worth the money I paid.
Yeah, well, Andrew Jackson was, I think, the inspiration behind what was originally called Jacksonburg, and then Jacksonville, and then just plain Jack.
Wait, time out. Was Jackson the city named after him, or was that just coincidence?
Could be. I mean,
because that would actually be a full circle moment. It didn't even hit me.
I'm not entirely certain. I think.
Well, we got Wikipedia and infinite knowledge. I'm gonna look it up while you talk.
So Jackson and Ann Arbor were on the same footing at the time, socially, politically, all that jazz. And they had the choice to either have the prison or the University of Michigan. Jackson said, "We're taking the prison." Do you know why?
Private prison?
Not even that. It was the first state prison.
Damn
We
it.
had the first state prison.
I thought it was a good guess, but damn it, you got me.
It was a fabulous guess.
Thank you.
I mean, if you're thinking in terms of the modern era, but that's not what it was.
Damn, we used to be woke?
Prison. No, not really, because we were using the 13th or the 13th Amendment, saying that unless you are
Breaking news.
unless it is punishment for a crime,
Breaking news.
slavery is illegal.
Breaking news. Sorry to interrupt wokeness, but I got breaking news for you. It literally was named after Andrew Jackson. Wow, full circle.
Yep.
And literally
Okay,
it says right after that, Jackson State Prison. Because, God, Andrew Jackson, man. Andrew fucking Jackson. Not the worst president of all time, but arguably bottom 5, inarguably bottom 10, unless you're an idiot and you're fucking racist.
He was certainly a turd.
Not the worst, though. I would have Woodrow Wilson worse. I don't know who would be my number one. I'd have to think about it, but I think Woodrow Wilson was worse.
Herbert Hoover.
No, I completely disagree. 100% disagree. Do you want to actually have this conversation, or should we talk about Jackson?
Let's put a pin in that.
Because trust
and
me,
talk
it's a
about
fantastic debate. I used to agree, but then I watched a documentary about him. I'm like, oh, he's actually not that bad of a guy. Wrong place, wrong time. Plus, I don't fault him as much now for the tariffs because econ, contrary to what people think, is actually relatively new science. So like they only had what they were working with. And if I was in his position and I didn't know the shit I did now, I probably would have made similar decisions. Although his tariffs were aggressive. Other than that, like people didn't know shit. Like even just 100 years ago, people were stupid as fuck. Like even though there are a lot of stupid people today, 100 years ago, holy fuck, it was worse.
Yeah, that would make sense. But anyway, we're way off the beaten path there. Let's bring it back. So Jackson and Ann Arbor were in competition for the prison or UMich. Ann Arbor got UMich. Jackson got the prison. The reason why Jackson got the prison was because it made economic sense for the region. We were heavily industrialized at the time, and it was like we used prison labor to fund fuel manufacturing. Literally, we were in competition at the turn of the 20th century with Detroit for Motor City. We had the Jackson Automobile Company that had we produced vehicles. Buick, that came out of Jackson. That eventually got gobbled up by General Motors, just like practically everything. But where Buick came from? Here, an hour and a half west of Detroit, which is freaking wild. Oh, and the Jackson Automotive Company, that used to be the Jackson Carriage Company, and we manufactured carriages. Flippin' wild, isn't it?
Oh yeah, sorry. I have it. I have the whole history of the city of Jackson up on my screen. So you talk about any stuff you know, I'll pull it up. I promise.
Yeah, okay. Well, that was the big context too. Like, well,
Actually, we got bigger
given
context
the
that's actually
pattern
more
of-
important.
Really?
Jackson, and did you know this? You got to tell me, answer sincerely. Don't lie to me and pretend to be fancy for the camera. This is the most important news we're going to talk about all day, so get ready. Did you know that
Yeah.
Jackson, Michigan, claims to be the birthplace of the Coney Island hot dog?
Yeah, they do.
Do you believe them, though? Because there's some
before.
controversy.
Personally, I'm a vegetarian. It doesn't matter.
Woke. I'm not even kidding. I'm eating meat right now. And the reason I bought this meat is because I hate animals and I hate life and I want everyone to suffer.
More for you.
Well, no. I want to suffer too. That's why I'm eating meat, because there's downsides to meat. I'm literally an educated anti-vegan person. I know that meat's bad for me, but I'm doing it anyways because I'm nihilistic and edgy.
Well, listen, Cracker Jack, I've got to go. It is way past my bedtime.
Did you just call me a cracker?
I said Cracker Jack.
I know, I'm kidding. But anyways, I just want to say thank you so much for coming on. Is this your first stream ever?
That would be correct, yes.
Have you ever been interviewed outside of like a live stream setting?
Yes. I don't want to talk about it right now,
Oh, of course.
but
I just wanted to say, if it
another
is like
point.
your first forum, you did fantastic.
Thank you. It was an honor and a pleasure to be here. And
Guys,
thank
if-
you so much for giving me this time to tell you that about this stupid, abhorrent, disgusting, inhumane ordinance that you can say I don't want it either in your local community or here in Jackson on July the 21st at 6:30 p.m. Remember, second floor, City Hall. When was it?
July 21st, 2026. No meeting files, of course. No meeting overview, of course. I went to the websites.
Oh.
So literally all we know, City Hall of Jackson, type it into your Google Maps, you'll find it. And of course, we've said it 5 times. I'm sure we're legally
Jackson,
covered.
Michigan, let's be honest.
Go to Andrew Jackson's
remember.
gravesite and protest. But
Well,
in all
obviously,
seriousness,
some other day.
I got the information up on screen. So if there's anything else you want to say, feel free.
If that's all, I am completely knackered. I wish you all a lovely evening. And
Are
I
you
hope-
British? Like your verbiage,
You are
I'm not trying to be racist. I don't even think, can you be racist to Brits? Is Brit a race? But regardless of that, are you British? Your vocabulary is wild, bro.
Oh,
Okay, comment in below if you're watching this. Do you think Rosie is British? And it's okay to be racist to British people.
yes, absolutely. They're colonial bastards.
Well, I wouldn't use the term bastard, but you can be racist.
Oh,
Anyways, I'm going to let you go because you gave us 2.5 hours of your time. I literally have the time up almost exactly. And of course, if you want Rosie to come back and be our little anonymous citizen journalist, anytime some bullshit happens in the Metro Detroit or Jackson area or wherever bullshit happens around the world, hit that like, because that tells us that, damn, we cooked. And not only that, but we're going to edit this down into bite-sized content. And don't worry, if somebody says, we're out of context, this, or Rosie, if you start saying, I fucked you and rat fucked you about the fucking context, I'll be like, nope, here's the live stream. We're keeping this public in addition to a more condensed version. And that's our policy at GLU. Unfiltered news, unfiltered truth, unfiltered opinion. And although sometimes people get goddamn annoying when they spout off at the mouth, at the end of the day, I'd much rather live in a society where I can say some stupid shit than not say anything at all.
well, more likely than not, you'll be hearing from me again because I'm a regular pain in the neck. Anyhow,
Well, that's why we like you over here. That's kind of our whole thing, is being annoying, but like exercising our rights and saying, haha, you can't do anything about it, stupid.
Tyler, would you do me a favor once I leave? Would you go over some of the coverage of the homeless encampment? Give them a little bit of the context that they're missing. I mean, because they don't. A lot of them probably don't live here. A lot of them probably don't know what's going on, and I know you probably don't know everything. You just know what I've told you, and
I
that's not
actually
a-
have stopped learning.
know.
I realized that I'm perfect and everyone else sucks, so I stopped learning.
Oh,
No, in all seriousness, just send me, I don't know if you're going to bed right now or not, but send me any links to to our private messages, and I will pull up those links.
I am off to bed. I'm so sorry.
You're good. I got what is it called? I type fast for research and shit, so I'll do it. How much does it matter time, or is there any like list of things you want me to get to?
0 toots given, just general like views. I would especially invite critiques of landlords.
Got it. And if you tell me I did a bad job, fuck you, but also I'll do better next time.
Yeah, I'll send notes tomorrow morning.
Anyways, in all sincerity, thank you, Rosie, for coming on. Have a good night, and stick around. We got more.
All right, bye-bye.
Wow. So in conclusion, killing homeless people is good according to the Jackson City Council. No, I'm kidding. So anyways, yes, we're going to do a little more debrief information, trying to give you an overview because that was a lot of information to take in. We're going to try to make it more concise, both so I can turn this into a video later, but also because some people might still just be tuning in or watching this later as a video, live stream, whatever. And yes, by the way, I'm not going to say who said this, but some dipshit, sorry, idiot. Actually, you know what? I can swear, dipshit. I'm not going to say who, but was like, oh my God, you don't have a lot of viewers on stream. You're pathetic. You're fake, big famous. I'm just going to explain to you how YouTube works without giving away my total strategy. One, you can get shadow banned for streaming either too frequently or touching on sensitive topics like Epstein or Israel. And GLU, unfortunately, is unfiltered, unfortunately for the fascists out there, the neoliberal fascists. And so sometimes we touch on those topics and we get shadow banned. It doesn't mean we're not popular. It doesn't mean our viewers are bots and fake. And I'm paying for subscribers. None of that is true. Nor, I don't even know how you could think that unless you're just jealous and stupid or emotional or a child. It's all real. Our audience has literally not just doubled in size, but quadrupled in size in the last 6 months alone. And for one, I'm grateful for that. And if you ever want to be part of GLU, work for us, work with us, just an interview if you're like a public official and you can't technically take a paycheck from us, obviously reach out to my Instagram at Tyler J. Fiorito. You can also comment on this video and we'll get in touch somehow. We also have a business email linked on the YouTube website. But regardless, my whole point is this is important, regardless if this viewer, if this stream literally got 0 views. That is not meaning, oh, it's fake activism. That's what someone said in my DMs. One, you're stupid. Two, it's unfortunate because I want to imply that you're good faith. But clearly, based on that comment, you're just being an emotional little baby. So I stopped responding to you tonight, and I'll respond to you when I feel like it, or maybe never again. I don't care. You're not a serious person, in my opinion. But for anyways, even if it did, for sake of argument, have 0 viewers, I can edit this, and because I know how to use my fucking phone, and also it's inarguable that our channel has a lot of subscribers, I can make it into a more bite-sized content because people also forget long streams are not the best for watch time. That's not my goal. Obviously, I would love for everybody to watch every second of this. I would love for there to be 1 million viewers. I think that would be a great dream fantasy that I can one day live and make reality. However, that's not the case. And sometimes it is my fault because I'm shitty at my job and I'm a fake journalist, whatever you want to think. I don't care. But most of the time, it's actually not my fault. It's YouTube's algorithm being shitty. But the problem is YouTube has a, oligopoly on this alongside some other shittier platforms like Rumble and whatever. Although I will say, Rumble, not saying you're shitty like in terms of like your mission, or at least your stated mission to like be uncensored. Honestly, we're looking into all full disclosures. GLU has been looking into a partnership with Rumble. The only downside is just the moderation tools aren't the best. YouTube obviously has been around for longer, so they got a more built-in audience. And it sucks because I almost never want to make decisions that violate my principles or are based on money. But at the end of the day, when people are dying in a genocide, I have to pick and choose where we're going to be. And if we can make it reasonable and possible and affordable to do Rumble, we will be on every fucking platform. Rumble, Twitch, we'll be on a fucking billboard outside your house. I don't care. We want to make sure the news gets out there to people. And I'm not just saying, oh, left wing, I'm left wing, I'm woke. A lot of that stuff is jokes. Like, if you wanted to put my political opinions in aggregate, some of them are going to be left wing, some are going to be right wing. Mostly, I think, at least based on my understanding of who I am, for one, I don't identify with labels because I think it's reductive and it's just, what is it called? It's like very convenient, like, oh, you're a communist, you're a socialist, blah, 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 you're a Nazi, you're conservative. It's like, okay, for one, those words have meanings. And two, not only that, but each one of those variations has variations based on the time that they happened, whether you're the OG Nazi or you're like a neo-Nazi, etc. And so when you just throw those terms out there, people, it shuts down conversation. And regardless of if you like me, you think I'm awesome, you think I'm a prick, I don't care. All I want you to know is that I have rights to free speech, and so do you. And even if I think you're an awful person, I will not stop defending your rights, because rights are for everyone, even people we don't like, period. And if you disagree with that, get the fuck out of America, period. Anyways, sorry for the rant. I hope Rosie's not watching. I'm getting back to the shit, but I just wanted to be clear because I had somebody in my DMs trying to tell me that I'm being fake and I'm only doing this because I want to be a fake activist. Shut the fuck up, fuck off, suck my insert thing. I don't want to get demonetized, although I don't really care that much. The main reason I don't want this getting age restricted and kicked off YouTube because YouTube unfortunately censors people. All that being said, it's 11:11. We are over 2.5 hours in the stream. Let's do a brief rundown. We'll try to get to the 3-hour mark, and then I'm going to get the fuck out of here because I have other shit I got to do and then go to bed. Briefly, City of Jackson, if you just tuned in, is proposing a measure where literally not only is it legal to confiscate the possessions of homeless people if this passes, but it literally will be legal to do that to anyone. If you're an American citizen, let's say you're driving with your car. Let's say you're taking a highway that goes through the city of Jackson, Michigan. I believe 94 goes right through the heart of Jackson, Michigan. I-94, if you're from Chicago, if you're from Canada, if you're from any other state. And 94, I believe, literally goes all the way west to Montana. So let's say you're going on a road trip to Canada and you take 94 and you go through the city of Jackson. This insane rule that I'm about to say would apply to you. And the rule is based on the stuff we read. Obviously, you can say if I'm misinterpreting it, go back and watch the stream. We went over literally the rule line by line. But my layman's interpretation of this rule is that it literally will be legal to take shit from people without proper warrants. As far as I read that, I could have missed it. If I missed it, my apologies. And literally take shit from you without a warrant. And not only that, but not even marked police officers. It could be fucking anybody the city wants to. So if you literally are abiding by the law and a cop gives you a bullshit-ass speeding ticket on 94, you're on your way to Canada, not only can they stop you, but they could literally take all of your shit and say, oh, you're homeless. That would be legal under this law. It's not an exaggeration. Obviously, it's a colorful way to explain it, but it's not an exaggeration. It's not hyperbole. That could literally happen to you, anyone, American citizen, foreign national, resident of Michigan or not. Hell, you could be a stateless person who was kicked out of their home country as a refugee. Doesn't matter. If this law passes in the city of Jackson, Michigan, it literally will violate the First Amendment, in my opinion. But more importantly, well, not more importantly, but like equally, and I would say more arguably, like inarguably, and obviously, it would violate due process, which is the what is it called? Sixth Amendment to the Constitution. And so, literally, this bill, and you're like, if you're saying, Tyler, I'm in India, or I'm never going to drive on 94. It's not a big deal. Like, this isn't going to affect me, Tyler. Why should I care? Why should I care, Tyler? I'm just a guy. I went to FIFA for the World Cup in Los Angeles, and I went home. Why should I care about this? It doesn't affect me. Actually, it does. And here's how. If this law passes, obviously, I think a smart person or GLU directly will do this. We will sue them in court. That's not, what is it called? Empty threat. I don't know if we have standing or not, but like this law violates Americans' rights. And I've been to Jackson, Michigan at least a couple of times in my life passing through. I've even stopped in Jackson for like, I don't know, like sushi or like a hamburger from McDonald's. So I believe I would have standing, but if I don't, we'll find someone who will. And to be clear to the courts, to be clear to whoever, if this is used as video in court one day, I don't think it will be, but let's say they want to try to get me in a gotcha and try to say, oh, Tyler, oh my God, you're trying to make a fake court case and waste the court's time. No, it is not a waste of time, even if it is just a neighboring town or Jackson is 45 minutes from my house to defend Americans' rights. I don't care if it's 45 minutes or 45 hours from my house. If somebody violates the rights of Americans, that is everyone's problem. And here's why. Because if this goes to court and this gets sued and this gets appealed and it goes all the way up to the Supreme Court of the United States, if the Supreme Court of the United States went by and said, you know what? You can steal stuff from Americans without a warrant. We don't care. And it doesn't even have to be cops. I was bought by, rich billionaires. I don't care. They're going to pay me to do this. I don't give a fuck. And by the way, we're not going to take rich people's stuff. We only poor people. We don't care about you. We don't care about you. You could die. And that's kind of what we want with this bill. Obviously, I'm being hyperbolic and facetious. But the point is, in all sincerity, if it was upheld or declined to rule on by the Supreme Court and the appellate ruling was upheld, that would mean that this precedent applies to all states. It doesn't mean the law immediately goes into effect tomorrow, but what it means is cities who are like, wait a minute, we want to kill homeless people. We want them to fuck off. We want them to die. They could pass identical, verbatim laws just with the names of the city of Jackson replaced with other stuff. And there's not a goddamn thing you can do about it. So what do we got to do? Nip it in the fucking bud. Nip it in the bud now. If you are able to go to the meeting in person, it is It is July 21st in Jackson, Michigan. This July 21st, 2026, as you can see on screen. And the city council meeting is at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. I like saying Eastern Standard Time, Daylight Time. Who gives a shit? That's what EDT stands for. It's not a drug. It's a time zone. But focusing. Sorry, ADHD. The meeting is at this location, 161 West Michigan Avenue, 2nd floor, City Council Chambers, Jackson, Michigan, zip code 49201. Even if you just look up, I think, City Council Chambers, Jackson, Michigan, into Google Maps or whatever fucking Maps app you use. I'm not a fucking fascist. I'm not going to say you got to use Google Maps. For one, I hate Google Maps more than Apple, but for two, I don't care. This is where the meeting is being held. I believe they have limited capacity in person. And of course, for the 5th time, I'm going to say this. If you do plan to go in person, GLU does not endorse violence. GLU does not endorse violating the law. GLU does not endorse any sort of encouragement to harass or stalk these people or anything else. All we are saying is if you are a resident of Jackson especially, but a concerned citizen of the state of Michigan, United States of America, or beyond, and have the ability and also the willingness to go to this meeting on July 21st, 2026 at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Go to this meeting, and obviously, if there's a fire code that says we can't get everyone to go, abide by the fire code. I, again, for the 6th time, am repeating myself, do not violate the law, do not harass anyone, do not do anything. If there is a cop, even if the cop is misusing their authority, do what they say. Don't say a word. Say, I will not speak to you without a lawyer. That's what you say as an American. That protects you from the law for now. And it won't get you in trouble. Even if they violate the law and handcuff you and do some fucked up shit, you might have a payday. But regardless, if as long as you're not violating the law, even if they do arrest you or do some bullshit, that's what you got to say. Don't do any drugs or crime. That's not what I'm saying. All I'm saying is if you go in person, GLU, Great Lakes Unfiltered, and any of its affiliates do not endorse any sort of violations of the law or specific behaviors that are unlawful or could be viewed as unlawful. That is not what we support. With that out of the way, and I think because if this is played in court, this might legally protect my ass. I hope, Judge, if you're listening, hi, this is Tyler Fiorito from the past. I'm a University of Michigan student. I'm in grad school. I'm not famous, but like I have at least a decent following on YouTube for now. I might get famous one day. I hope not. If this is in your courtroom and it's becoming like a public spectacle, my apologies. That's not my intent. I'm literally in the past. I'm not a time traveler yet, unfortunately. Or else I'd undo a lot of stuff. Actually, wait, time travel, you probably can't do that. But you could travel forward in theory. I mean, like technically, if you go into cryo sleep, that would be going future and be, from my perspective, time travel. But regardless, Mr. Judge, I don't know who. It'd probably be the Jackson judge, but let's say whoever the judge is, also could be a Mrs. or non-binary judge. I don't know if there is a non-binary judge, but I'm trying to cover all my bases here, not get sued. Also, the fact that I'm pointing out all this specific stuff is kind of funny. The point is, I hope this helps in court. If not, I think pretty much any appellate judge or serious judge, if you're not a serious judge, I hope you are. I really don't know. But if you're not a serious judge, anyone's going to overrule you for being an idiot. And you're not an idiot. I'm saying that as a hypothetical. You could be an idiot. I don't know. You could also be a genius. Or you just could be a guy who just doesn't want to deal with frivolous defamation suits or whatever. And because I'm not defaming anyone, I hope that you would throw this out of court. And if this does get used in court, it's going to be really funny. And I guess P.S., If we're in court, I would love to be able to film this because that'd be really funny. But if not, I mean, it's your court. I can't, what is it called? Disagree with your rules. I will follow the rules of the court. I will follow the rules of the state of Michigan and the federal rules of civil procedure if this goes to federal court, etc. Now, all that being clear and out of the way, I just wanted to say this meeting, I believe, also has an online component. You can talk about it online. Sorry, I'm eating a sandwich. It's important to have food. But if you can only tune in from online, do that. And if you can't do either for some reason, if your phone doesn't work or you're in fucking Antarctica or some shit without cell phone reception, the moment you hear of this, also wait, time out. If you didn't have cell phone reception, I don't know how you're watching this, but somehow if you're watching this in the future in Antarctica and you downloaded my video, I don't care. Whatever means you have, whether it's telling a friend, whether it's fire and blanket, whether it's sending a message in a bottle, tell people about this law, tell people about this meeting if it hasn't happened yet. And if this, God forbid, we still have a chance to stop this, but I'm saying if the worst case scenario happens 6 days from now, make sure you, one, hit that subscribe button. Obviously, like, yes, it is benefiting me, but two, it's important because we will follow up on this, I promise you. And not only that, I will do whatever it takes to be at that meeting, and if somehow they're like, oh, this guy's a bad guy, he's going to harass us, I will cover it online. Guaranteed. I see no incident where like being covered online can be considered harassment, especially if I don't say harassing things. And obviously, if Rosie wants to join me live during that meeting online, I'm totally down. I think this will be huge. Although I will say that I will attempt to go in person, one, because I actually want to ask them questions, and I feel like when people are online, they can censor others, which is exactly what student government does. Not to bring it back to them, but they literally did that to me 6 times last meeting, and well, let's just say I'm glad legal systems and laws exist, and that's all I'll say about that. But regardless, we will cover it in some form or fashion, no matter what. I will. I give you my promise as Tyler Fiorito. I give you my promise as the editor-in-chief and CEO of GLU. We're not officially filed as a business, but I'm working on it. I've never filed a business before. I'm not a lawyer, and I can't really afford a big-time lawyer, but I'm trying my best. And we will file as a business or nonprofit or whatever soon. But I'm giving you my word that this story, for one, we already started covering it, and it would be kind of stupid not to follow up. But for two, even if we literally didn't know about it until the day of, it's too important to let die, and I will do whatever it takes within the confines of the law to ensure that this bill not only doesn't pass, but if it does, is thrown out by a court or organize Americans. Because guess what? And honestly, I'm too tired to do 3 full hours, so we're going to end here at the 2-hour, 50-minute mark. But this is the final parting thoughts I want to give with you. There's a hell of a lot more of us than there are of them. The politicians, the oligarchs, the billionaires, whatever. And no, Rosie might yell at me for this, but she's not here. It's my show. I can do whatever I want. I don't blame Republicans for all their problems. If you want to debate that, come on my show. I blame the politicians, including Republican politicians mostly, but also a lot of Democrat politicians, any corrupt politicians, in addition to corrupt billionaires and awful, evil people who have agendas, either genuine agendas to like actually kill people because they're insane, or what is it called? The only agenda they want is personal wealth and power themselves. And here's the thing. This country, as far as I know, has 330 plus million people. I haven't checked the last census, but it's at least 300 something million. And by the very nature of richness as a concept existing, there are a hell of a lot more of us than them. And because we're supposed to be a democracy where people can vote and we have free speech to protest and use our rights and redress grievances, regardless of if we are handed a loss on July 21st. My birthday, by the way, is this week. Happy birthday to me, I guess. They did this for me. But regardless of that, if it's July 21st or if it's a long court battle, or let's say somehow the worst thing happens and they bring it to the Supreme Court says, yes, you can do this, we still have our voice. If you're a living human being and the First Amendment still isn't overturned by the Supreme Court, you have rights. And I can't force you to do anything. But what I will say is every single real American who's not a traitor to this goddamn country and this goddamn Constitution should be out there in the streets saying this law is bullshit. It's not just about the homeless. It actually hurts and can be used against Republicans too. It can be used against any party. Doesn't matter who the fuck proposed it in city council. Doesn't matter if they're your mom or your best friend. It's a shitty ass law and it's going to hurt people. It's going to hurt Americans. And here's the thing, guys. The last thing I'm going to say, other than obviously be here at this meeting on screen, the Roman Empire doesn't exist anymore. A lot of people want to talk about why Rome was great. I don't even know 100% the reason. I have my opinions, but I'll tell you this much. Rome don't exist anymore, does it? Other than the city. Why is that? America, as a nation, is much younger than Rome. And for us to be so pompous that we think we can exist forever, I got bad news for you. And here's the last thing. What makes America America? And my answer, at least as far as I know, is not just the culture and the people, although that's a good answer. I think the best answer you have is our goddamn Constitution and the rights that are enshrined by it and influenced by both religious and secular Enlightenment thinkers and the Founding Fathers. And if you disagree, go fuck yourself. You're not an American or you're just a kid, and I apologize for telling you to go fuck yourself. But if you do know that and you're evil, go fuck yourself. We're not going to let you take America from us. That's not a threat of violence. Don't misinterpret it as such. We will peacefully protest, and we will file every legal or whatever political, social challenge we need to hold you accountable and ensure that you do not destroy America. Save America. I know Trump says it. I don't think he means it, but I mean it. Save America from this bullshit. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Great Lakes Unfiltered, Unfiltered America, Unfiltered Truth. If you don't believe me, go fuck yourself. We're the realest motherfuckers in the game. Tyler, out. Also, that was not badass at the end. I really am just tired. Thank you. Oh, wait, hit subscribe and like, because it'll help us get this information to more people and will literally save lives. Thank you. And also, that noise you just heard was me trying to